If you've ever waited for some type of developer conference to start and gone up and down like a roller coaster throughout the entire conference, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. Welcome back to another episode of Live Trading. I am your host, Ryan Faluna, and we are here to make some more money today. Apple Worldwide Developer Conference is over. It happened yesterday. We're going to break that down. Fed meeting starts today. We get the Fed decision tomorrow. Hopefully we get a non-boring day today. We'll see.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
Hello and welcome, everybody. Welcome back to Live Trading. It is great to see a whole bunch of returning faces. Crazy Dog, Cosmique, Rick, Jonathan, Lauren, Carmen, Market, Elon, and everyone else that is joining us here today. Hope that you have a wonderful one. We do have some news to cover. We've got some stocks moving around, but I just want to remind everybody we are in the summer doldrums. It is kind of slower, kind of not great out there. We're going to make the best of it. I'm going to go ahead and bring on the team. First, we've got Andy from Mighty Soldiers Trades checking his text messages, making sure that he is ready to go for today. Andy, how are you doing today?
Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, everybody. And no, I wasn't checking a text message, if I could talk. I was saying good morning to the chat, and I just wanted to make sure.
All right. I didn't even see. Andy's playing 4D chess over there, and Ryan's just living in a Euclidean two-dimensional world. Okay, also going to bring on Nick Brown, downtown Nick Brown. Oh, I can't call you that because Josh, but News by Nick. That's right. I forgot about that. Sorry, Josh. Nick, how you doing this morning?
Good morning. I am well. How are you guys? Busy day so far already.
Okay,
Busy already for you?
If you guys don't mind, Nick Brown provides so much freaking value. This guy is awesome. I mean, I've never seen a guy just hit it nonstop. Well, I have, and each guy I've seen do that goes straight to the top. So I know there's great things in the future for Nick.
Thanks, Andy. Really appreciate it.
We definitely know that. Nick, forget the future for just right now, and let's talk about the present. Hopefully you watched the Apple Worldwide Developers Conference, and you've got some news to break down from that. I have some thoughts myself, so why don't we hold that here for a sec? Talk about the SPY, talk about some of those junkier names, and then I'm going to turn it over to you to roll down the news flow for today. With the remaining time, we will go ahead and check into whatever stocks the chat is looking for. Yes, 13 is on vacation. Believe me, he has earned his vacation, but he'll be back, and he'll be back on Friday, so don't worry about that. Everything is good. Okay. Let's go ahead and talk about the SPY. Let me go ahead and bring that up here. Here is your SPY chart. Again, just kind of an inside day yesterday. Let me zoom out here and kind of show you. We just had kind of an inside day yesterday. We're a little bit weaker here in the pre-market today. We'll see if we end up trading up if the lows are in the pre-market or if we take another leg lower here out of the open. Really not a whole lot going on here, honestly. And I think that tomorrow, maybe we'll finally get a higher volume day. At this point, I'm hoping to just see volume prints up towards the average around 60 million. These last couple of days have been anywhere between 20 and 30 million shares. So it is what it is. Not a whole lot going on with the SPY. And again, if we take a look at the daily chart here, really nothing has changed. We're just kind of trading sideways here. Right near the top. Andy, do you have any thought here on the SPY and where it might go? I know that you spend a lot of your time reacting to what's going on, shorter term trades, the whole 9 yards. But when you look at the SPY daily chart, does it tell you anything?
All right, so basically, Ryan, same thing I was telling you yesterday. I believe that we were going to pop back above that real body high on the weekly, which we had right into this precarious level of this upper shadow. That's not that big of an upper shadow on the weekly there. And then I'm looking for that rejection back down to the real body and then finally get that reclaim and rejection at the real body. But looking at this chart right now, I mean, it just looks like it's going to keep doing what it's been doing and being a freight train to the highs. So I would understand if people are very bullish, but I hear a lot of, negative sentiment, on the floors. So basically, I'm still looking for what I'm looking for, but I do understand that this looks pretty it looks like we could still pop to the highs.
Yeah, it does look like it's going higher here. Remember, we came back in towards that 50. We really kind of tested that. We traded back up here. Now it's kind of trading sideways. The high print of this candle that's got this upper wick, upper shadow, whatever you want to call it here. High print there, 536.89. That's going to be the spot to look to break here. We're currently at 535, or excuse me, the closing price here, 535.66. If we look at the current price here, 534.03. So we'll see if we hang on to that 534, 533 area, or if we end up coming back in here. I do think that at some point, the market is going to kind of roll over and come back into some of these levels that we've outlined, some of these moving average levels. Not sure if we're going to get that yet. Clearly, we need some type of catalyst to get that started. We just don't have that yet here.
The market is full of a bunch of people that always say that this is not going to happen this time, that they're bearish the whole way up. But if we look at the previous bull runs, we came back and retested that 20 EMA on the weekly over and over and just kept on trucking to new highs. And that's exactly what we did, back, I think we started that on the 19th on 4/19. So anyways,
okay. April, yeah.
It's looking just like every other bull run that we've had, and we're just going to continue the strength. I'm not buying it until we actually prove that we're breaking to a new high here. I'm still looking for that real body rejection, so we'll see what we get.
Okay. We will see what we get. Let's go ahead and run down some of the movers here. Then we'll talk about the news and Apple's developer conference. That I thought went both ways, honestly. Some interesting stuff there and some scary stuff out of there. We will talk about that here shortly. First stock on the movers list is going to be Pixie. Well, we don't even really need to cover this, frankly. You folks are all aware of Pixie. We've traded this one a number of times off the relative volume scanner. Day trade only, please. I don't really think holding this overnight is a good idea. We really have no news here driving any of this. It just looks like kind of momentum. We've seen this before with this name. We did pop as high as 240 here, bled all the way back. This really has to flash a setup to be great. I know it's one of the biggest gappers here of the day. Don't be fooled by something like that. Next here is going to be OSG. This is QuantaSing Group, and they actually did have a PR here this morning. QuantaSing Group shares are trading higher after the company announced up to a 20 million share repurchase program. I guess they looked around and saw that companies that are reporting earnings and doing buybacks and share repurchases ended up trading higher, so they just kind of announced that. Stock traded up past 260. It's really kind of come back in. As far as a trade setup here today, it's all going to be about the volume. If the volume stays as low as it is right now, it was nice to see us get this pop here after the initial move. But if this volume stays anywhere where it's at here today in the pre-market, I'm not sure we're going to have a move here. Maybe this is one of those that kind of comes in, finds the bottom, and then pops back towards the VWAP. We'll see. VWAP really only 16 cents away here right now. I just don't feel great about this. I want something to change here to give us a potential setup on QSG before we feel good about trading that. Next one here, AISP. This is Airship AI Holdings. This one here trading higher. This looks like this popped, went almost towards 4, didn't quite get there, came back into the VWAP. We did have a PR here this morning. Airship AI announces 6-figure sole source contract award with the Department of Justice for Acropolis Enterprise Video and Data Management Platform. We should probably go through this a little bit more. Seems like there's just a lot of buzzwords in there. Now, the good news here is that the market is rewarding this, currently up 14.7%. We'll see if that holds here. Market really seemed like it was kind of starving for AI headlines. It appears it didn't get the headlines it wanted out of the Apple conference. So it's interesting to see how some of these smaller stocks are going to do on the PR here. The good news about this is that it is sitting right by the VWAP. So we should be able to watch that opening print and make a fairly educated guess towards where this is going to go. I like this one more than the other two that we have discussed already. We'll see if we end up taking this. Look, at this point, I know, Carmen, you were saying it's not even the summer yet. It's definitely the summer. It is June, and June in Chicago is the summer, and this market is telling us it is the summer. So I'm not sure what calendar dates you have, but I'm going to stick with it because it's kind of boring here. I'm not going to be forced into taking one of these smaller stocks, and I would probably kind of look around and see if we have more action in some of the bigger stocks. We'll see if we get a trade set up on any of these things. Andy, did you have any of these that you wanted to cover? Did you look at any of these today? I've just been kind of running through the list, but I'm happy to talk about any of these if you have a setup on it.
Okay, so basically, Ryan, I'm looking through my list, my top percentage gainers, and I just see a bunch of sub-dollar penny stocks, and it's making me just kind of look away. I pulled up AFRM because that looks a lot more interesting than any of the penny runners for today.
Yeah, we'll talk about FRM. That's, of course, a firm. The big penny one today, we might as well talk about it. I know the chat's looking at it. TPET, this is going to be Trio Petroleum. This is ripping here. It's actually taken multiple legs up here today. Trio Petroleum, core shares are trading higher if the company completed its first two exploratory wells, so they're just exploring. Look, again, we're traders, so I understand if you want to trade some of these things, if you want to try and use this, I totally get it. I'm staying away from this. The other thing that we've seen about some of these penny stocks is that they'll have these big moves in the pre-market. This has actually had multiple legs here in the pre-market. Looks like it's trying to go to 50 cents as we speak here, and then it'll be kind of dead during the regular session. So TPET, the penny stock here, I don't think I'm going to trade this. I generally stay away from these. So I'm with you there, Andy. But let's talk about a firm here. We talked about, there we go. Really quick, a firm just kind of dropped down this list here. I'm just going to go in order just so I don't miss these. The next ticker here is PCSA. This is Processa Pharma. Processa Pharmaceutical shares are trading higher after the company announced efficacy results from a preliminary evaluation of its phase 1B dose escalating trial with NGC cap in gastrointestinal cancer. So we're getting a cancer PR here. The one thing I will say about PCSA here, really good formation. I like seeing this when it comes to some of these PRs, right? You got that impulse move. It comes back, it curls back and takes out the VWAP. This is actually setting up to take out the 190 rejection point here, then go for 2, maybe even 210. PCSA, at least it's got a catalyst. At least it's got a catalyst, and at least it's related here to cancer treatment. Okay. QSG, there's a share buyback. Yeah, we talked about that one. Let's talk about a firm here, right? Okay. A firm holding. So a firm shares are trading higher after Apple announced a firm's payment products are expected to be available to Apple Pay users in the US later this year. So
just crossed minutes ago.
There's just crossed minutes ago. Jay gave it to you right here. Apple Pay news, positive. That's what's going on. I could actually see this being a pretty big positive. Apple products are expensive. They're going to allow you to use a firm buy now, pay later. I could absolutely see this working out for Apple. The risk seems to be on a firm's end, not necessarily Apple's end. So I don't know. We'll see. Market reacting here. This traded up towards 34. I actually wouldn't be surprised if that 34 handle isn't out of the question yet. We came back here. If this takes out VWAP, this gets any type of volume expansion, I think that this could go higher here. My long-term view on a firm is still the same. I still don't like buy now, pay later. I still think buy now, pay later is going to play into the weakening consumer. I really do think that we are going to get a market crash at some point, or a feeling of a market crash. I just can't tell you when that's going to be. And I can't possibly just wait around for that. It's going to happen fast. So I think a firm is not the greatest thing in the world, but sure looks like it is giving us a trade here today. Sure looks like it's giving us a trade here today. Okay, a couple more things that were on here. It's worth noting, AKAN. I know we've traded this one here before. This popped in the after hours. It's trying to pop again here in the pre-market, but we'll see if it maintains its strength. Boyle is on our list for the second day in a row. Remember what we talked about yesterday? Be careful with natural gas. It had that huge rip in the pre-market, and look what it did in the regular session. It flushed all those people out on the backside of the move. We call this the widowmaker for a reason. It's not easy to trade. It's extremely volatile. Even some of the best traders that I know that have 4 decades of experience opt not to trade this, or consider themselves lucky when they book wins. So just kind of keep that in mind. Just know what you're trading. If you know what you're trading, you can adjust your risk parameter, keep yourself safe. That ultimately is going to be the big goal of the day. Okay, that pretty much goes through our list. Nick, I want you to break down some of the different news here. We could talk about Apple and GM and all the other stuff that you have. And any remaining time that we have at the end, I'll go through some tickers here from the chat. But why don't you start? What do you think the big news is? What do you want to talk about first?
Well, I was going to say, Ryan, here's basically a recap of what everything Apple announced yesterday. Apple Intelligence for Mac, iPhone, and iPad. OpenAI's ChatGPT is coming to Siri. iOS 18, a big Siri update with AI, updates for AirPods and tvOS for Apple TV, the watchOS 11 for Apple Watch with training load, iPadOS 18, macOS Sequoia, Vision OS 2, Apple Passwords app, and custom emoji called Genmoji. That's basically a recap of everything that was announced just for day one. And of course, they saved the best for last, AI. And we know that it's not actually called Apple AI, it's called Apple Intelligence. And even as the company was unveiling Apple Intelligence and explaining that you need an iPhone that's greater than the 15, so you need a 15 Pro or 15 Pro Max, you need one of the newer MacBooks, you need one of the newer iPads, you need basically some of the latest models to gain access to Apple Intelligence. And we know this partnership with ChatGPT and how Siri is going to work with it is getting some backlash from Elon Musk, saying that he is actually going to ban all Apple products from his companies. Now, he did share some posts on X talking about how Apple shares data. We know that's essentially not true. His own posts actually got community noted, 2 of them yesterday. One of them is still community noted this morning. One of them has been removed from the community notes. So I don't know if that's just in fact that he's trying to test his own platform with community notes. But we know this Apple event is only in day one. We have day 2 to go today. So there's a lot more that needs to be unveiled. But the major takeaway is if you want Apple AI or Apple Intelligence on your phone with ChatGPT, you need to upgrade. And that's basically what all of the analysts are saying regarding this morning on Wall Street. I mean, I do have some reaction. Bernstein says AI announcements were largely as expected. Wells Fargo goes, Apple Intelligence could stimulate just a significant iPhone upgrade cycle. And basically that's what JP Morgan says, that they view this as the upgrade cycle. You know, Dan Ives of Wedbush thinks this is just the momentum. This is just the beginning of things here at Apple. But I heard yesterday in the car, basically before the event, Apple was attending a party at 7:30 at night that was already full of AIs, and it's now 9 o'clock and they still even haven't unveiled yet. So they're basically, Ives is still bullish on Apple, don't get me wrong, but he was saying this is late to the party, that they need to get moving on this. And then there was a lot of other partnerships talking about Apple Cash, and we saw some volatility in PayPal with the FaceTime and how everything's going with that. We saw some volatility in Zoom. But again, the major takeaway is if you want AI, you got to upgrade.
Yeah. So a couple of things here about the Apple event. First of all, the whole thing with Elon Musk and the community notes and all of that. Elon Musk is a very polarizing figure. I wouldn't put too much into the community notes, especially as they go up and down. We actually talked to somebody on Happy Hour yesterday that attended Computex, lives in Taiwan, spoke to other CEOs and other business leaders, and said that Elon's worry about Apple having AI at the OS level is legitimate, and they share his concern. So this is not, I know that sometimes they like to, blow this up. Oh, Elon's crazy and this and that and blah, blah, blah. I don't think any of that's the case. I think Apple might have made some missteps here. It's not out yet. So, we'll see if they end up kind of correcting this or making it a little bit safer. The quote about the Faraday cage, and users are going to have to check their devices in his buildings and leave them in a Faraday cage. I think that's a little over the top. We'll see if this spawns an X phone, right? I think that might be what other people are suggesting, the tinfoil hat, if you will. Maybe this leads to an X phone. But getting back to Apple here, the Lynn here, let me real quick here. And great Apple recap, Nick. Kramer says this is great for personal users. And I think that's really the big thing here. It definitely, as a personal user, when I watched this conference yesterday, or when I watched what was going on yesterday, I thought to myself, man, there are a bunch of features here that I would actually use. I was saying here in the pre-show fist fight this morning that Apple, for the first time in its history since they have released the iPhone, Apple finally created a feature that gives me FOMO about not having an Apple. Remember, I have a Samsung phone. I don't have an Apple phone. Since the first Apple iPhone was released, there has not been a single feature that Apple has deployed where I've said to myself, God, I really, really want that, and my phone doesn't have that. That changed yesterday. The screen mirroring app that Apple allows, where you can basically just pull up your phone in a virtual environment on your laptop, do everything as you would on the phone, while the phone can be in a different room, still locked so nobody else can spy on you. That is really cool. Nonetheless, though, that's not going to be enough for me to change ecosystems. So it's not going to move the needle for me, but Apple is kind of creating some of those features. Now, the other thing here that I thought was really, really interesting is all of the enhanced functionality with the pen and the calculator, and how you can write hand notes and still spell check your hand notes, and the AI will recreate the writing in your style. I don't know how good it is. I haven't played with it yet. To me, that sounds really, really cool. I could see people using that. I know artists would probably use that. I would use the calculator, especially if you're trying to do like derivative or partial derivative equations, and you need to kind of write some of these things out. That stuff's really cool. I'm not sure how much that moves the needle, though. And you were talking in your news there about Apple. They seem to be kind of late to the party. We'll see what happens here today. The AI stuff that they talked about yesterday did seem cool, and it did seem like it would be helpful. But I'll tell you what, if businesses are worried and businesses aren't going to participate in the upgrade cycle because some of these new phones can't be used, or they're worried about security, that's going to be bad news for Apple. I'm with you here. I think that this probably triggers a new upgrade cycle, which would be extremely good for the stock in the next several earnings reports. I think there's a little bit more clarity that's going to need to come on the AI front. We'll see if we get that here today. But anyway, there was some cool stuff in there. I did think it was cool. I didn't see the Vision Pro update. I heard that was good. I don't really know what's going on with the Vision Pro.
And that was just day one. Remember, we have day two today.
Yeah, DJAF, this is the pairs trade that I talk about all the time. When people ask me for recommendations, this is what I tell them. Use a Samsung device, own Apple stock. You don't need to have both of them. All of that stuff is what it is. Okay, and then the other thing here is I see a lot of people complaining about Toss. Lion Atlas 13 is on vacation. He'll be back Friday. We mentioned that yesterday and again here this morning. He will be back. The other thing here is that regarding Toss, I see a lot of you folks are having troubles with Toss. I'm using Toss. I'm logged in. Everything is working. So it appears that once you log in, you're okay. The problem currently seems to be with the login servers, and it seems to be affecting Thinkorswim and online portals. So keep that in mind if you're using it. I know yesterday I was having trouble with Trade the Pool, so I ended up not trading. Looks like that's fixed here. We'll see where that's going.
Brian, on that note, I was going to say our own news desk has confirmed that Toss Thinkorswim is having some issues. Charles Schwab has reportedly on Twitter saying that they are aware that some clients may be experiencing issues logging in. Teams are working to resolve. They apologize for the inconvenience. So once it's fixed, we'll let you know. But some of the guys on our news desk have been having issues logging into Thinkorswim for charts and other issues, and so they're the first to report that. But if we have any other updates during the show, we'll surely let you know.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, it seems to just be the login server. It doesn't actually seem to be the usage of the platform. All my quotes look good. My prices are good, and they are accurate. I love the team here at Benzinga is really great. I love that one of my teammates, Jake Crandall, creates a fake burner account of myself and then talks positively about Apple, even though he knows that I would never own the Apple iPhone. Just really, really good stuff. You have to wake up pretty early here to just get ahead of people. Jake Crandall's always a step behind, and so we get these kind of messages here. Love you, Jake. Okay. Is there any other stocks you folks want to take a look at here before we get rolling? Also, stream is sponsored by Trade the Pool. So if you need help getting above the 25K day trading threshold, check them out. They come in here and they help us out quite a bit. Yeah, don't act, little guy. Don't act, little guy. But while you're there, just remember that Michael Jordan's the best player that's ever played basketball. Okay, we are about ready for the open here. I hope you all are doing great. Christopher, you want to take a look at Eli Lilly? Let me go ahead and actually pull up Eli Lilly here. What is it that you wanted to take a look at? Real quick, let's see what you had said there. I'm getting all of the all my teammates here that are goofing around. I can't see the comment. Christopher says, Lily. Christopher, what are you looking at here for Lily? I know one of the things that we've discussed in our happy hour program is that this is going to be one heck of a short. It also seems like the better weight loss drugs come from other companies, right? It seems like this is kind of the one that makes you feel sick. This chart, I don't know how you short a chart that looks like this. I mean, this thing's an absolute freight train. Maybe this comes back in and gives us a short setup here on Lilly. The news here this morning, Lilly shares are trading higher after the company's Alzheimer drug received a unanimous 11-0 vote from FDA's Peripheral and Central Nervous System Drugs Advisory Committee. So it looks like that's actually what's driving us up here today. You can see we traded up in the after hours, holding here 833. Like I said, I think this is going to be a great short at some point, but I can't tell you when it is. I'm not getting ready to jump in front of that right here.
And Ryan, somebody in the chat said that their TOS isn't working, and I just checked one of my accounts in TOS. I can't even log in.
Yeah, it's the login server. That's what we've kind of discovered here. If you're logged in, it should be working. If you're not logged in, you might have some trouble. Just be careful. Okay, we are open, folks. Good luck. Let me get Trade the Pool up here, and we will go ahead and make some money. There we go. All right. I guess we should check in on GME, right? We haven't done that yet. Annie, did you have an update on the GME position you wanted to get?
Yeah, guys, I just want to let everybody know that I am now officially losing more money than what I made on my GME trade. I'm not a fool, and I didn't put a huge amount into GME, but I am losing more than I made, and my cost basis is $32.80. If you really want to, feel bad for me or something.
If you really want to feel bad for me or something. AISP here, we actually might have a trade right on our hands. Remember, this had the PR that's going for the pre-market high here. It's pushed away from the VWAP a little quicker than I wanted here, about 10 cents above that. But this one going for the highs here, AISP. Sorry, Andy, I didn't mean to run you over there.
I was gonna say sorry, yeah, too, but I didn't want to be left out of the whole diamond hands thing because I kind of skipped the first round. So this time around, I wanted to start really small and just let this thing drop and see what happens, and maybe actually add more size to it as we go, and see if we can really turn this into one of them really big GME moments. But for now, it's small and I'm losing, and it doesn't look like it's going to be any moment at all.
Okay, well, yeah, tell you what, Andy, keep us updated just in case that change. Really quick here, kind of an alarming comment here. Caesar, good morning, Caesar. I've been trading since 2008, never been locked out of my account before, ever. Is this the first day that has happened to you? And that is absolutely awful. I totally get it. Being locked out of your account is the worst thing. It feels like you can't do anything. You feel literally helpless. I actually see a report here that someone was able to recently log in, which is the first report I have seen of that nature. Several of you folks are saying you can't log into TOS. Looks like this is kind of a back and forth thing here. AISP, this trade looks like this is working. This went right to the highs. Let's see if we end up breaking those highs. So it had to be a little bit quicker in order to get really good entry on this, but a nice move away from the VWAP, nice trade right above this 372 area. We'll see here, AISP.
Ryan, can you guys throw up a chart of Axum Therapeutics, ticker AXSM? We are just getting reports that there is a short report out now. This stock is getting hammered. This short report is from Culper Research on X. They literally posted this minutes ago saying that they are short Axum Therapeutics. In a long thread, they kind of just delve out the short report, basically saying they believe Axum Therapeutics' launch of its flagship depression drug has been aided by undisclosed consignment deals with the dodgy mail order pharmacies that subvert prior authorizations, inflating script counts and reported revenues. They go on in this long thread. Haven't really been able to dive into it, but just wanted to bring you they start off with they are short Axum Therapeutics.
Yeah, awesome stuff there. Jay mentioned that earlier. Jay, what is your opinion on Culpeper as a report? Also, keep in mind, Nick's going to try and be courteous and not just interrupt people, which is why you were able to get that out here before. Great mention here, AXSM. The AXSM, boy, that's going to be difficult for me to say, Nick. I'm going to need your help on that one today. I'm probably going to screw that ticker up. AXSM, Alpha X-Ray Sierra Mike. This here at the bottom. I'd like to know if you folks have any thoughts here on Culpeper. We've been playing some of these short reports. They've actually been really good bounce plays in some cases. Would love to hear what you guys think about that. This looking for a bottom right here. Also, I posted the tweet in the chat that's got a link to that short report. So if you're looking for that, go ahead and check that out. That's rolling there. Okay. Let's see. Okay, and you guys are still dealing with the inability to log into TOS. Yikes. LPA, we've been looking at this one quite a bit recently. This halted to the upside here. I don't think there's any trade other than just kind of gambling here. We did break the highs there on AISP. This trade definitely working here so far. Higher we go, AISP. I was just a little bit late to this one. Jay saying here, Culpeper, it's better than most and much better than Spruce Point. Okay, so I guess I'd be curious to know, is this a viable dip? Do you kind of want to wait and see how it trades? I have no familiarity with Culpeper, and I'd like to actually go through the report too. AISP looks like this is going higher here. Size at 420 giggity, and we'll see if we can break that and go higher.
And it looks like AMD and NVIDIA are still holding pretty strong. Well, AMD off the lows. But Tesla is dumping, and the market pulled right back to that real body level I was telling you guys about. I'm looking for a potential rejection here at 533.91. That's a declining level.
Hey, AMD flirting with that 161 at the moment. How's NVIDIA doing out of the open here? NVIDIA is volatile out of the open here. That is trying to go higher here. Actually seeing a lot of contracts getting bought. Are these sheepies?
And I've already taken profit, if you don't mind. Sorry, Ryan. Didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No,
I already took profit in the market in AFRM.
Okay, let me bring up that chart here real quick. I do see some NVIDIA and Apple options, but these are near term. These are the ones that expire this week here. I'm not sure if there's much we can glean on that. That might just be traders trying to trade around it here. Let me bring up that AFRM. So how did you trade this, Andy? Break it down for me. You're muted, dude. Totally
Sorry
muted.
about that, guys. Sorry about that. But you see that previous consolidation on the 5 minute. If you have the 5 minute up, I just grabbed the lows of that candle to the highs of those previous candles before we spiked that big upper shadow we have here. If you can see.
Okay.
That.
So it looks like you were basically just kind of playing for that pop. Nice job on that pop right out of the open there. We'll see if a firm sets up for another trade here. Good morning, yacht insurance guy in Florida. Yes, MB, there are login issues. It appears once you're logged in, everything looks like it's okay. I'm okay here. My toss is okay, but I've been logged in since 6 o'clock in the morning, Central Time. So I've been on for hours at this point. Gosh, almost 3 hours? Day's almost 3 hours old. I can't believe that.
Dude, great to see you, yacht. Welcome to paradise.
Look at Tesla. What's going on here with this?
I was going to say Tesla is testing the 50-day moving average. Literally just discovered that on a chart.
It sure is. Right here, you can actually see that right here on this chart. The big thing that we want with 50-day moving averages, do we get a close above that? Perhaps it bounces here. Ryan, it could be, I don't know. Sal, I'm not sure what you're referring to here. I don't know if you're referring to my teammates that like to goof around or what's going on with that. I don't have any context for that one, my man. Sorry. Looking around at some other stuff here. Looking at some of these smaller names, UONE.
I tried to buy some more AFRM down at that bounce on the 9 EMA on the 5 minute, and I fumbled somehow. I don't know what I did wrong, but messed that up, so I just got to let it go. That's one of the tough things for me. I don't know about you guys, but being a day trader is kind of quick. I do fumble quite a bit, and I just got to be willing to let it go and move on.
Gurn here popping above those pre-market highs. Gurn looks like this is trying to go higher here. This actually had a really strong day yesterday. Looks like it's continuation here early. Ticker Gurn, GERN. Looking through some other stuff here. Okay. Okay, what are you guys seeing here? Seeing EJH on the scanner? Oh my. Penny stock, I don't know. How's Lilly doing? That came right back in. Wow, that gave up all of its after hours gains off that PR from last night. Wow. Eli Lilly. Gurn has FDA approval news coming out on June 16th. So their front, let me see what, let me bring up the news feed there. Today we actually got Barclays initiating coverage on this with a $9 price target. So Gurn here, ticker GERN, getting coverage from Barclays, $9 price target. Well, we actually got that news yesterday. It looks like it's being reiterated today. Stifel maintains. Stifel had a rating on it. Their price target is 7. Don't see any news regarding that data, that FDA approval. That might be something that you're just following there, which I get. All right, let's see what else. I don't have any. I can't believe I don't have anything else really moving around here. Let me check the Twitter streets. Check the Twitter streets. You guys got anything going on?
Just watching this market closely and watching this declining 65 here at, well, actually, sorry guys, 533.71 here on the SPY declining level. Looking for a potential rejection if we can go test that.
Okay. Okay. Guys, Twitter is, well, X, Twitter, whatever you folks want to call it, it is extremely slow in terms of what people are playing here. I don't know. I'll leave that on there. Let me flip around to some more stocks. Thankfully, I've got the scanner rolling here. That's also kind of dry. AISP, that has been the best trade of the day here. It's just a tad too late to it. Okay, out of Tesla short. Easy Mike, good morning. Nice little trade out of the gate for you right there on that Tesla short. Would you get 4 points on that?
So with AMD dumping right now and Tesla dumping, the market pulling back, potentially dropping to a lower low. I'm looking at NVIDIA to potentially do the same. But I look over at Flow Trade for the flow index for the SPY and the Qs, and both are ripping on the 1-minute time frame. So that has me a little concerned for getting any shorts yet.
Okay, that's interesting. So first of all, you had mentioned some of those tech names there. Apple at the highs, interestingly, just ripped right out of the open on Apple.
Ripping.
Say again?
I was just agreeing with you. Yeah, Apple's just ripping here. Relatively to the other ones here.
Did Dan Ives give any did in all of the talk that's going on with Apple, did he talk about a price target or a price level or anything like that he's looking for on this?
No, the only thing that I know is as of yesterday, he published a note right after the conference was over, and they didn't change anything. They still maintained outperform rating 275 price target. He says, quote, "This was a historical day for Apple, and Cook and Company did not disappoint in our view." He didn't change any ratings, but he was quite bullish on the whole event.
Okay. Well, I mean, he's bullish. I mean, he wakes up and he's bullish on the air. So I get it. And that's fine. Was bullish on parts of the event too. I'm just wondering if he gave a level. That 275 his prior rating. That we'll go off that.
I was going to say, we still haven't mentioned GM today.
Let's do that. Let me bring that up here, Nick. Sorry.
Okay. I was going to say GM, they're announcing a $6 billion stock repurchase authorization. Also has been approved by the board. New buyback comes as, it's been repurchasing shares back in 23. They announced that they were going to accelerate the $10 billion. That was going to be completed by the end of this month. In the release, GM CFO Paul Jacobson said, quote, "We are very focused on the profitability of our internal combustion engine business. We're growing and improving the profitability of our EV business and deploying our capital efficiently. This allows us to continue returning cash to shareholders." So part of the buyback program. This company has always been part of the buyback program, just continuing to outperform. Tesla's still getting hammered right now. Not seeing any news. The only news we got from yesterday, if I can recall, because there's been so much stuff going on, is that they have to face California's DMV's false autopilot marketing case regarding Tesla. So that's the only news we got as of yesterday.
Okay. Yeah, I think something else might be going on there. Yeah, in any case, we'll watch it. We'll see if that actually gives a trade setup. AISP here did break that 420 level, went to 440. Keep this one on watch. Volume has been great here. Multiple pushes up here. WETH call here from Becca. Good morning, by the way, Becca. This is a nice little pop here. Actually, I like the volume on this move here. A little too spread for scalping, but definitely worth watching here. Lion Atlas looks like he's longing some Apple puts. So look at you looking like you're trying to play some Apple regression back to the mean here. It's up, 4 points off that 193 level. I think Apple goes for 200 here. WLDS, we talked about this one yesterday. This is that wearable devices. Looks like they're trading up here a little bit. This is a penny stock. I wouldn't buy this one, or I wouldn't believe this one, I should say. Pixie, this is another one that we talked about. Day trader only here. Shift Pixie, this struggling to get above its VWAP so far.
And really not see any good pennies climbing the ranks either.
TPET was the only run that was really here ripping. That looks like it already might be on the backside of the move. 3 insider buys of note. Let's cover them here. VFC is going to be your first one. Let me bring that up here in the Benzinga Pro news feed and we can look through it. Okay, let's see if I go to the insiders tab here. It's like yesterday. Let's go ahead and take a look at this here, Jay. Here is VFC, VF Corporation. Yesterday, it looks like this is the president and CEO. Looks like they added a whole bunch of stocks, 75,000 shares added here. VFC. This is a really good call there, Jay. MCFT, Mastercraft Boat Holdings. Okay, this is another 124,000 shares there. Looks like this was the insider. Looks like this was Coliseum Capital Management. Christopher, what a long ass title here. Why don't you just tell me what it is? My goodness. This guy. Oh, man. Anyway, I'm just going to abbreviate that. Coliseum Capital Management adding 124,000 shares there on Mastercraft. That's the boat company, MCFT. Last one here that Jay was giving us is going to be Snow, ticker SNOW here. Again, this is Michael Spicer adding 76,000 shares here, almost $10 million in premium there on that insider buy. Good stuff here, Jay. I didn't look at any of these here this morning. Awesome. Let's see if those go higher here. Jay, I'd like to know how you trade insider buys. Do you kind of watch the stock after it? Do you add? Do you have to have a thesis on it early? Just wondering how you fit that into your trading calculus. Let's go back to trade the pool, see if we can execute on something here.
Market's looking like it has no quit in it to the downside here.
Yeah, that's indeed. Here, let me bring that chart up here, Annie. We can take a look at that together. Here is your SPY. You got a level that you're looking to play a bounce here?
No, Ryan. Basically just, I'm just trying to gauge it at the moment.
Okay. And this market, it really is selling off here.
Looks, 529.99 would be a really great level to start looking. If we can get there.
SPY, Dow, Qs, all doing the same thing here.
Oil's moving lower.
Oil's moving lower.
Pretty much banks are moving lower. Amazon moving lower. Like not a lot of sectors are green at this point.
Costco moving lower. This has actually been one that's held up on some of these days where we've sold off. Not today. VIX putting in a 1347 reading as we speak. FMC got a new CEO. Hopefully that stops the selling. GME going down here. That's been par for the course, man. Here's the thing. We got asked last week when we were talking about all of this stuff. The question, the prevalent question seemed to be, is the GME thing over? I mean, today, not looking great. I will say, though, this whole thing never seems to be over. How many times did we say this was over the first time around, only to have it come back a second time around? For those of you that are following all of the drama and maybe the mystery is a better word for it, let me know what you have come up with in terms of dates where we might see something here. I know that there are some people looking at pictures and memes and trying to extract numbers out of it. And let me know if you guys found anything here. Sure seems like we're on the backside of a GME move here. AMC, I'm willing to bet, looks the same. Holding up a little bit better.
I was going to say, guys, taking a look at the sector map, technology's barely green, up, not even 0.1% yet. So we are moving to the downside. It's just, I think this overall market is just waiting for CPI tomorrow, the Fed tomorrow, and PPI on Thursday.
The market has been doing that for a lot of these important data prints and important earnings prints over the last several months. That wouldn't surprise me at all. I think you're on something there. Real quick, 13, despite being on vacation, trying to break some news here. You love the effort here. Hearing that the Port of Long Beach / Los Angeles, is testing hydrogen-powered systems for cranes, trucks, and other port logistics. That would be Plug, right? I don't know if it's the actual company that they're testing there, but Plug does that hydrogen power system, hydrogen fuel cell. One to watch there on that piece of news. Looking around here. I'm going to be patient off the open. Let me see what some of my other trader buddies are doing.
Typically, if you have the 15-second chart and the market starts to pull back like this, when we reject off that 65, we will go back and retest the 9, then the 20, and then reject again and again until we finally go back and retest that 65, as I've showed you, Ryan, over and over the whole entire time. So if we get into death throes like that, that's what we see basically the whole day.
Okay. Well, I hope we don't see death throes the whole day here, Andy. That would be, I'll just say that right off the open here.
I hope we do. I mean, I really personally think we need it. It would be a
I think we need a pullback. I at this point, though, just judging by how on edge some people are, especially today with people unable to log into their brokers, I think I'd want a little bit more orderly pullback. When you said death throw, perhaps that was a me thing. I just kind of envisioned the worst case scenario. But yeah, I'm with you. I've been bearish for a while. I've been waiting for a pullback here for a while. I'd love for some of this stuff to reset, give us better quality stocks and better prices. That would be awesome. I'm not sure when we'll get that. And like I said at the opening here, I do think a crash type behavior is possible, but shit, I can't tell you when that's going to be. AISP, great call here, Glenn, coming back towards the VWAP. By the way, the other Glenn, Kindred Duke, the real Glenn, as you referred to yourself. Yes, I'm aware that you two guys are different. We appreciate you both. Jay, getting back to my question here about insider buys. I love information like this. This is something that I've spent most of my career doing when I talk to people that have more experience than me, asking them how they do things. Jay here saying, Ryan, in insider buys, I like to see more than one, but generally it's tradable, like the moves in BFC is making. Stock is up a little bit. Stock is up a little despite a horrible quarter. So I guess the only follow-up question there is that like the catalyst for you, like the fact that you saw that here today? Are you now trading it for today or maybe several days? VFC clearly here with an up move on the back of that piece of news. Uh-oh. We got a fight night in the chat. We got Glenn D saying he's the real Glenn, and we've got Kindred Duke already said that he is the real Glenn. Round one, fight. I'm just kidding. I don't want to encourage fighting amongst our community. You guys are both number one in my book. Don't have any follow-up questions. I know that's not possible, but that's the way it is.
Apple near the highs at this point, continuing to move higher. AI,
I think
WWDC.
Look, Nick, we said it earlier. I think Apple's making a run to 200. Now, what does it do when we get there?
I don't know. I don't know if it continues to move higher or it has to trend lower. There has to be some point where people are going to take some profits.
We said that at NVIDIA, and it kept going. We'll see, though. We'll see. Apple definitely at the highs here, bucking some of the trend for a lot of these other stocks, including the market. Dow, actually, the market's starting to bounce here. Everything but the Q's starting to bounce. What's NVIDIA doing? This is probably okay. NVIDIA pounding this, actually looking like this is going to go lower here. How about SMCI? That have very similar chart, although not as weak as NVIDIA. DJF saying, Tesla, where's the bottom? Not found yet. Maybe we bottom out here, 168. Jay adding on here, each case is different. I agree with this. Each case definitely different. Both the fit, so what the company does and how that CEO can affect it, and then also the CEO's performance. VFC CEO is the old Logitech CEO, did a bang up job there. So basically you're saying that the quality of the CEO is something else that factors into your trade plan. I've done this before with Ruth Porat and Google in the past. Jungle 2.0. Do you guys usually trade SPY? I personally do not. We look at SPY every single day, no matter what's going on. We chart SPY every single day, both here and in the happy hour show. I don't always trade this. Personally, my personal opinion on trading SPY, the best trade, we actually talked about this last night, best trade you can make in SPY is just constantly buy it a little bit at a time whenever you've got money for it, and then sell covered calls against it on a regular basis to earn more of that income. If they get called away, just buy more at some point. So we don't actually talk about trading it here, but we will often refer to it, Jungle, because we chart this a lot and we look at this for other trades. Looks like Kindred Duke plays SPY options. That I could see. Spiro Bill, no. Looks like the login issues started at about 8 o'clock in the morning. Those of us that were logged in prior to 8 a.m. are in and the platform is working. Those that were unable to log in still having trouble logging in. Looks like we're getting mixed reports here, though. Some people saying they're getting in, others saying that they cannot get in. It's not anything that you're doing. I'm sorry you're going through it. Boy, I'm going to reach out to Thinkorswim and be like, yo, I want a kickback for all the support I did for your platform here today. Tell me to GTFO, to be quite honest with you. Let's take a look at TPET. That was that penny stock that was really moving. Looks like this might have stopped here on the backside of the move. Watch to see if it reclaims VWAP and goes higher. AISP, this gave us one of the better trades out of the gate. Look at that. Came back into VWAP. I had it off the screen. Nice bounce here, AISP. This looks like the first resistance level here. See if we get up to that 450. There's only one daddy backstrap. That's true. I haven't seen anyone else with that handle. I'm going to look through my scanner here. God, all of these stocks are like you know what's crazy? So we took a look at TPET earlier. Talked about this on Happy Hour too. Here's another one, VHAI. This is another one here, another penny stock. It just seems like the penny junk is what's moving here. I'm not into any of that. Jay Rice saying breath is still lousy. More new 4-week lows versus highs. Jay, what do you use to monitor that? That might be something that we could kind of set up and then, just kind of mention as like a daily thing. I like that. New highs versus new lows. I'd be curious to know what you monitor and what tool you use to monitor. That might be something we could bring to the show here. 13 does that a lot too. I'll ask him when he's back.
You can use the Journal, Wall Street Journal. They have a whole marketing section that tells you 52-week highs, 52-week lows, and you can break it down if you want the NASDAQ.
Okay. Okay, that's good. I'll take anytime someone. So it's funny. When I was in college, we had someone come in trying to sell subscriptions to the Wall Street Journal, and the way he opened it, he said, "Who wants to make over $1 million in the course of their life?" And of course, everyone's hand went up because we're in college. We're all trying to get a job. He's like, subscribers to the Wall Street Journal are 78% more likely to be millionaires over the course of their lives, and that alone drove subscriptions. I'll never forget that. I will never. I don't even know if he was right. I don't even know if he was right, but I will never forget that. Good mention there, though, Nick.
Quite the salesman, eh?
Hey, I get Christian Fromhertz, by the way, one of the best in the business. He is absolutely phenomenal. I've been following him since I started this. I catch him when he joins pre-market prep with Triple D and Joel. If you don't follow Christian or his newsletter in some way or another, run, don't walk, and do that now. I'm with you there, Jay. Daddy Backstrap looking for a trade plan with options. You know what? We can ask AnMarie today, Daddy Backstrap. We have AnMarie coming up after. Why don't we ask her about NVIDIA? I don't think we've put on an NVIDIA trade. So let me go ahead and make a note of this. You know what? Let's throw Snow on there. Just going to make a short list here. CEIN. It was Stay Focused last week that asked about CEIN, right? Or CIEN. Oh, come on, dude. CIEN. Here we go. CIEN from last week. Okay. Cut. We're going to start setting up some trades here. All right. Enough of that. What is moving? Apple's still at the highs here. Apple's still climbing. All right. We're going to that 200, aren't we? Only 75 cents away now. Could you ask her about the wheel strat? I'm not sure I know what that is. But I can try. Looking around here, looks like Chewy here, despite the market's weakness here, Chewy actually trading up. So we're still in some of that big volume tick right there on Chewy as we go through 23. Giddy up. Let's go. NVIDIA CRM Snow would be awesome. Okay. I think we did a CRM recently, but I will ask her about NVIDIA and Snow because those are going to be newer ones. Gene, looks like he's had enough with Thinkorswim Schwab. Looking for a new platform. Yikes. Sell puts until you get filled, then sell calls till you get filled. I can ask her. I'm not familiar with what specifically you're asking about. I will ask her though. All right, folks, what do we got going on here? I got like no trades going on. Even like the trading, my trading buddies. I don't really have a whole lot here.
I was going to say, guys, Apple 52-week high now, up 199.66, 3.4%, almost 200. If it heads to 200, that'd be the first time it reaches 200 ever. So watch Apple. We'll see how it does today during WWDC.
Yeah, I mean, this Apple so far, as far as the big stocks, Apple, the trade of the day here. The one thing I will mention here, maybe Tesla's starting a bounce right here. Maybe we're at the beginning of this potential move here. Not sure. As far as some of the smaller stocks, the only good trade so far, AISP. Let's see what happens if this gets back into 413. This would be the fourth test of the VWAP. How did Affirm? We talked about that here this morning. Affirm, maybe this is going to give a trade if we move through the VWAP here. RenB, this is one a number of you folks were hitting yesterday. Not really doing a whole lot here today. Curry, that's CURI. It's like that's a little bit of a ramp here on volume. Curiosity Stream, I didn't have this one on my list at all. ADW Texas just got back in a toss. Keep trying there, folks. They're going to let people in. I bet there's an entire wait list of people trying to get into their broker here. It might take you a little bit, but stay at it. GME might be curling off the bottom here. GME. Watch this. Watch this ramp in midday when everyone's like asleep. And it's a boring day. Roaring Kitty just comes out with something huge. Watch that happen. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying like that would be fitting that happens. GME through the VWAP here.
That live stream on Friday was actually horrendous.
Yeah, so help me out. We kind of talked a little bit about this yesterday. So what happened? Right? Let me break this down why I'm asking this. So first of all, I had a presentation. It was scheduled for 12 noon. I had a presentation that started at 12 noon. I didn't actually have to go on until 12:30. So I figured, well, with the first half hour here, I'm going to get a feeling for what's going on. He didn't even show up. He was late. By the time he showed up, I had started my presentation. I glanced over. It looked like he had fake bandages and blood and stuff on his face, and his arm was in a sling. And he was making fun of his position that he was down, millions of dollars on? I don't know. Someone help me out. I don't understand what the stream was about.
You know, it got so much attention that CNBC literally had a live stream of
I
it.
saw that.
I'm sorry, but I had to watch the live stream. It was pure entertainment on one hand. Then I was like bored out of my mind on the other and saying, why am I wasting my Friday watching this?
Yeah, well, then you won the day, because if you stopped wasting your Friday and you went out and did something awesome, you absolutely won there. By the way, AISP broke your intraday highs here. High print 460. This ain't done. This is the best trader of the day. Stock du jour right here, AISP.
And the AFRM right back to the VWAP, just breaking above it.
There you go on AFRM. Maybe we get some juice here. AISP, Lauren Autry here saying 450 again. Let me tell you, that 450 level, that's what we broke that first time. Let's see if it goes through. It looks like they're refreshing here. Took some here at 450. Let's see if they move towards that high here. Oh, they backed it off that 450.
Anybody else agree that this would be a pretty early turnaround for the SPY if we just keep ripping?
Let's bring that up here and take a look.
I was going to say GME looks like it's coming back just a little bit, only down 3.3%, was down as much as almost near 8%. So that's also trying to come back.
I'm only down about $10 a share on that one, so we're good. Maybe I should get my bandage.
Lynn in the chat says boring kitty.
Yeah, we've got boring kitty mentions, we have snoring kitty mentions, and then we of course have the roaring kitty mention. All right, looks like Bill, another TOS user, got in. Elon is in. So looks like those TOS servers coming back up. Again, that's what you have to watch out for when it's just a login server. It can come back at any time. Glad you guys kept trying.
I'm still out.
I don't see anything moving here on the scanner.
So this has happened before with TOS?
I've never had that happen to me. I'm saying I've had other experiences where I've tried to log in and couldn't log in. But this has never happened with TOS for me.
This might be one of the really good reasons to have stops in place, right?
We are getting more lines. I was going to say, can you throw up a chart of Cigna? CFO speaking at the Goldman Sachs conference right now, saying they are seeing elevated cost trends across
ticker.
CI.
Okay.
It's not really moving much, but CFO says that they're seeing elevated cost trends across the portfolio, but in line with what they had priced and expected. Just watch Goldman Sachs conference going on. I'll moderate any headlines that continue to come in. And if we see any significant move, I'll tell you about it.
All right. See, sorry about the dead air again, folks. See what we got here. Go back to the scanner here. Here was that one penny stock. This came all the way back into VWAP. LPA is resumed, by the way. So this halted on the way up, came back into balance. What's going on with this one? Justin, you want me to find your last comment? Roaring Kitty did it to piss off news channels and create a defense for the inevitable court case against him for manipulation. He's painting himself as an idiot. Okay, so that's what you think happened with the Roaring Kitty stream. I don't understand it. I'm not involved, thankfully. We'll see. See, TPET, boy, that penny stock, soon as the market actually opened, yikes, that thing lost all of its ability to trade there. It does not look great. You guys got anything? You guys seeing anything?
Just sitting at the 9 EMA here for a potential rejection with a real body above it in the futures. And I mean, it really looks like a great entry for a short, but I'm not buying it, dude. I think that we're probably going to pop higher here.
Okay.
I was going to say MasterCard, ticker MA, we received news this morning that they're going to phase out manual card entry for online payments in Europe by 2030. Starting from 2030, MasterCard will no longer require Europeans to insert their card numbers manually when checking out online, no matter what platform or device that they're using. Instead of the 16-digit card number that is accustomed to using for transactions, it will be replaced with a randomly generated token. Customers will be able to make one-click payments at the checkout page using biometric authentication with a thumbprint. Okay.
I don't know if the stock's reacting to that. It all seems fairly normal. Justin saying, I mean, you asked us, I'm trying to help. Sorry. Yeah, no, you did. I'm just trying to process the opinion here. Look, I don't know what's going on. I don't really know. This makes sense to me. You know, one of the things that I was floating, Justin, you want to talk about, I guess, tinfoil hat, wild conspiracy theories. One of the things that I was talking about is they've done several offerings now. They have cash. Maybe they start to buy other businesses. I'm just complete speculation. That's kind of why I wanted to get opinions on what happened on Roaring Kitty stream. Maybe he said something, future plans, hinting at stuff. The only thing that I can seem to find right now are cryptic messages and pictures with numbers in them that people are trying to get. I don't know what it all means. I'm just trying to put it all together. Definitely no reason to be sorry. I appreciate you answering the question.
I was going to say, guys, Spotify, ticker Spot, introduced more expensive subscription tier for music lovers. That's according to Bloomberg. The plan will cost at least $5 more per month and include access to high-fidelity audio and new playlist angels. I have to make a comment. I don't know how many times that I've read this report, but it seems every month Spotify is continuing to raise prices. Anybody else feel the same?
You know what's funny about that, Nick, is that I am pretty sure I still pay $9.99 for Spotify per month, and it has been that way since I started paying. So I'm wondering, are these different? Let me check. First, let me verify that because it is on autopay.
I was going to say, I feel like every time Spotify or we have a new Bloomberg report or the information or the Verge saying Spotify is raising prices, are they just adding more tiers, or are they gradually increasing the price without users noticing? Because it's very easy to do that.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is tiers. Wait for you guys to discover in real time that this is not. Oh, you know what? Maybe this is on my. Oh, you know what? This is going to be on the credit card. Hang on. So I'm looking at the wrong card. I'm going to figure this out for you, Nick. I'm going to figure this out. 80W Texas said, I just canceled Spotify. I tell you what, man, Spotify, the best part about Spotify is being able to play it in the car and when I'm like out working out, just like in my earbuds and not having commercials and not having to worry about any of that stuff. It is the best. All right, let me see if I can find the cost that I have been paying. I'm going to be a little bit embarrassed because if this has gone up, oh, there's my Twitter renewal. If this has gone up, I will have been one of those that forgot and just didn't pay attention. Where's Zunaid? Where's Zunaid? Spotify. Okay, Nick. So here you go. Spotify, $10.99. So I want to say that when I first started paying for that, I was paying $9.99. It looks, and I've had this for 2017 is when I got that. So it's what, 7 years? So I think it's gone up $1 over the course of 7 years. And I would actually, now that you've got, Nick, now you've got me wondering about this. I want to go through previous transaction months and figure out when this changed. I don't have time to do that right now, though.
But yeah, I feel like we talk about it every month. I feel like we talk about it every month that they're either introducing a new model or music's just getting more expensive.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, music is probably only about 30-40% of what I use on Spotify. The podcasts are where it's at for me. Anyway. All right, folks, what do you have for trades here? I'm sorry, we've just been kind of discussing stuff. The trading action hasn't been great in terms of setups. Watch the way Roaring Ryan sits. What on earth does that mean, Sydney? I swear, sometimes I have a real tough time figuring out what you mean. Wow, Elon, you're paying $16.99 for Spotify? I guess I shouldn't be pissed. Yeah, and I do use it. I do use it all of the time. So, in any case, okay, let me get back to the scanner here.
I'll be right back, guys.
All right, Andy. AISP back down here at VWAP. Looks like it traded right beneath it. Ooh, big pull through VWAP there. Watch for this to reclaim. No bounce so far at the VWAP there. AISP. LPA, it looks like this is halted again. That halted to the downside. Let me go back to that AISP move there. It's a nice little knife right there. GME is... You guys kidding me? Oh my God. I'm sorry. I don't, at this point, I don't know how else. I don't know how else other than just kind of laughing. Is Roaring Kitty streaming? Are we doing something? Am I missing something here? Clearly the stock ripping off the bottom volume. What did I just say not long ago? This thing it could just change anytime. Something could happen. Here we go. GME. What on earth is going on? Someone break this down for us. You guys are also mentioning AMC is moving with this. That would be something else. Yes, it is. Apple, did it print 200 finally? Did we get 200 prints there, Nick? Yes, we did. Right above 200. Apple popped above. What's next, you think?
There's some stuff going around now, Ryan, that they think the technical level on Apple is around 200 short-term resistance. So just watch the $200 level. I don't know if we close above 200, I think that may be a sign that the stock may be able to reach that level. We'll keep an eye on Dan Ives because you never know. He may change the price target.
Okay. Big red candle there. Looks like that went to 200 and someone just sold there, or several people sold there. We'll see. Sydney saying, remember, Ryan, Roaring Kitty sat up. I don't know how any of this stuff works. If my position in my seat affects the market, that is going to be news to me. I'll tell you that much.
I was going to say GME is now up 4.7%.
Don't ever give up on it. That's what I've learned through this entire thing. Don't ever give up on it. I'll tell you what, we've had kind of a, dare I say it, but we've had kind of a boring day from the open here. GME looks like maybe this is going to turn it around now, as GME is ripping here. Ryan, reverse Uno green card. Easy Mike, how could I have missed that, dude? That is just, man, oh man. So I told you, you might have to start getting into Uno more in order to kind of play around with this. Wasn't there some picture he released where some cat was holding a handful of Uno cards and people were looking to see what came after the reverse and what a draw four means? I mean, oh my God.
I just watched this where he said what the reverse meant. And I think people meant that the stock was going to reverse or something. I don't know, but he said it meant something totally different. So it was like,
yeah, and I can't figure out what that is, Andy. Your guess is as good as mine. GME halted right here, by the way, 25.99.
That's good news, actually.
It's a meme stock. He showed his port and position. It will run until then. The expiry is June 21st. So we got a 6/21 expiry on some of the shorter term contracts that he's holding in his portfolio. Okay.
It's pretty bold to put out there a big position with the options that are expiring soon, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, it is. That was exactly what my first thought was, Andy. Gary here mentioning I bought GME this morning at 23.53 because it was approaching Roaring Kitty's buy price of 21.27, and it started to break through today's range. So, hey, look, man, if it works, be happy about that. Be happy about that. Roaring Kitty keeps posting his position.
Is it possible that the kitty
does.
Is it possible that the kitty is hedging in another account, Ryan?
Well, now we're speculating, just to be clear. I suppose it's possible. I don't have any way to confirm that or believe that, but that sure feels like that would be illegal, right? If you're doing one thing in one account and then you're doing something else in another account with the purpose of making money, I mean, that to me feels like the SEC would have a case then. As far as I'm aware right now, he's literally just talking his book and doing it publicly. I don't really think there's anything wrong with that.
I'm not sure that it would be illegal to trade in any of our accounts in any way we want unless we're manipulating in the process.
Right.
Now,
He would have to be
posting
coordinating. He would have to be coordinating with somebody else. They'd have to be doing something for the objective of making a profit, which I'm sure is the case. I just don't know. Like, I don't look, I'm not like, a compliance guy. I am a compliance guy. I don't know how to necessarily violate any of these things. I don't know, what some of these specifics are on what they're trying to do. I just don't get it. Nothing illegal trading multiple accounts. Wash trade, not even a giggle. Jay Diamond, I don't know what's going on. No, I didn't see anything that was particularly funny there. Nothing illegal trading multiple accounts. No, but if you have a position in one account that you continue to show, then you have a different position in a different account, and you're effectively manipulating the price so that one of those goes into profit. I could absolutely see how they would make a case there. I don't know that that's what's happening. GME open here now, 26. Looks like this is trying to go higher. Brought in a huge bid there at 26 too, by the way. GME is going higher here, 26.24 so far, your high print, and then a huge knife. They snapped it right through there. We now have the second biggest volume candle of the day going on in this window right here. GME holding that 25.50 area. We'll see where we go here.
Ryan, like I was saying, I think that we could probably trade however we want in each of our accounts if we wanted to. But the fact that somebody is publicly showing only one account to sort of mislead people to believe that they're only long, and they keep doing that over and over again, I think that there would be a case possibly with that.
Okay.
But I mean, like, I'll trade options in one account. I'll trade stock in another account, but I don't ever mislead anybody and tell anybody that, hey, I'm only this in one account,
Of course not. Michael's saying, can't you hedge? How is that illegal? You cannot manipulate, though. You can't lie about it. Like talking your book. I don't know. Like I've never done anything like that. I'm just thinking that might be something that's possible. What's that?
I mean, has he lied though? I mean,
I don't think so. No, that's what I'm saying. I don't know, but I don't think so. Sorry, folks, trying to handle some other stuff on the side. I apologize for the dead air. GME really kind of coming back in now. Volume here is pretty good.
Right back around just below that real body level here in the SPY. And we have the VWAP projection right above us here in the futures as well. Potential.
Bring that up here. I'm sorry, folks. I don't have anything great for you here on a potential trade.
It's dead today.
It's dead. It's dead. It is what it is.
I mean, I was going to say we are getting confirmation from a few people that are attending the shareholder meeting on Thursday for Tesla that they are starting to send out RSVP confirmations. We'll see if his pay package gets reapproved on Thursday and what may come out of that meeting. You know, from initial headlines, I'm not convinced that his pay package is going to be passed, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I don't have any insight into that, into his pay package or anything like that. SPY here bouncing pretty good. Looks like we've kind of reclaimed that most recent sell-off. We'll see if we move from this direction here. I'd like to see SPY kind of return back to the lows. I'm not sure if we'll get that here today. Apple looks like it did kind of top out at 200. So it looks like that strength here right out of the open, just a dash for 200. We printed it. We got a pretty big sell order. Let's see if we kind of come back in here. I'd like this to come back down to the VWAP to set up. Hugh asking, what do you think about Square, ticker SQ or Square Block, whatever you call it here? The stock, I've traded this before. I've done pretty well with this before. This market really kind of seems saturated, to be honest with you. I'm not sure what's really going to make this stock the one to own. Just kind of looking at the chart here, I would probably want to take a look right like this. Right, like this channel would be the trade that I would try to make here. If something material happened here at the company and we were able to break out of the sideways channel, you might have a long swing here. Otherwise, I'd probably just trade the channel. I'm not sure what's on deck here in terms of big mover here for Square. And like I said, this payment space seems to be getting pretty crowded. Pretty crowded here. This is what I'd be looking for in terms of the values on Square, though.
Looks like NVIDIA rejecting pretty good off the highs or highs of the day.
Let's bring up NVIDIA here. Bring an intraday chart here on NVIDIA. What did you say right there?
I was just pointing out the fact that that NVIDIA finally gave up a little bit.
Yeah, and actually,
you
know what, Andy? It tried to take out yesterday's intraday high, did not have the strength to do that, and now has reversed here. We're actually beneath the V. We really couldn't even get back above the VWAP, and we tried that too. NVIDIA lower here. And let me see what the volume is on SPY.
Seems like we might just keep going with this chop.
6 million. Yeah, this is not a whole lot.
Got a decent pullback on NVIDIA and got a decent bounce in AMD. Apple's just continuing to be Apple. This is amazing for Apple.
It did go right back through 200 there. So we didn't, no VWAP test here, just more strength here for Apple. By the way, that's also bringing up AAPU. So AAPU and AAPD, the ETFs that give you leverage off of Apple's stock here. Here's what AAPU looks like here today. Really nice big move here, 2x leverage on that Apple move here. AAPD would be a way to kind of play this to the downside, something that was suggested yesterday on Happy Hour. And Line Atlas, you were mentioning FMC here, got a new CEO. Market seems to be reacting to that. FMC Board of Directors appoints Pierre Bondreau, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer. That's going to be something to look into there. We just talked about CEOs and how good CEOs can really kind of make the difference for a company. This is not one here I'm familiar with. We'll do some research into that and get back to you. SPY might be rolling over here. It looks like that 534 rejection kind of holding up here.
Right, I have to say I love these percentage charts in Benzinga Pro. It's
which
nice
one?
To be able to see it's nice to be able to see what's going on in each stock on one chart. So you get a feel for what, if you're trading the S&P 500, trading the SPY. It really helps you to understand what's going on overall, and if any of them are dumping or ripping, it helps you make a better decision.
Hell yeah. James,
right now, I have my
thoughts
Apple
on Z. Thank you.
I have Apple, Microsoft, SPY, NVIDIA, AMD, and Tesla all on one chart here and in Pro.
Oh, you just use the compare function.
Right, it's amazing.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, no, I do use that quite a bit. I actually like to compare individual things to some of their ETFs or sector ETFs here. Zillow, thoughts on Zillow here? We have a real estate expert that comes on happy hour. Zillow, I'll be honest with you. I don't know. We kind of go back and forth here. I don't really like home buying where the interest rates are. I know Zillow's got some advantages there. There's been a lot of talk recently about how they changed the actual commission structure for the agents and how that's going to affect home sales here. I would imagine that the more Zillow does for the buyer, the more bullish I would be on the company overall. But look, I mean, maybe keep these on your radar if you're kind of watching interest rates here. But to me, until interest rates really come down below 6%, I don't think these are good buys here yet. Maybe if you got a long time, you kind of sit in them for a bit. Good morning, Smoke Tuna. Let us know if there's anything that you're trading here this morning. Seems to be really kind of a slow day.
Ryan, we still have reports that people are still unable to log in to Thinkorswim.
Yeah, it looks like that's kind of a scattered thing here. We've got our own reports here in the chat of both, right? Some people are able to log in, others are not.
I'm still not.
I had one gentleman in my trading group that said he left his computer on and logged in from yesterday, so he didn't even have to go through it here today, which is rather entertaining. The market is dry, so selling some dry smoked tuna in the market. Market is indeed dry, smoked tuna, but glad you're selling some smoked tuna. You must really love fish. That must be what I've gathered here. God, this scanner, I'm not sure I've seen this scanner this dry in a long time, folks. If you've got other things that you wanted to do here today, do them. Seems to be a market day to miss here. GME looks like it's rolling over a little bit here.
Apple's above 200, now 201.40, or now 201.52.
That continuing to push higher, yeah. Schwab. Oh, you folks are funny. Schwab down 2% here. I mean, maybe that's on the back of the login outages here today. I don't know. Caesar, I bet you can't wait to get back in there and short it. What was the BA news, Lynn? I know you guys worked in the flight business, so you have a unique perspective on that, staying away from Boeing planes. Actually, it was kind of funny. 13, I hope this is okay that I say this. You didn't give me permission, but here goes. I get a picture. Remember, 13's on vacation. I get a picture over the weekend, the flight card that shows a Boeing plane, and 13's text just says, I made it. I mean, I'm glad that you made it, dude. I'm glad that you have a sense of humor about that. Hopefully that was an okay story for me to tell. That FMC CEO there. He's getting his job back after 4 years. I think he'll get us back up to 100. That definitely seems like buy there, ticker FMC off the new CEO. Market liked it too.
Ryan, watch Blue World acquisition, ticker BWAQ. It is now halted to the upside, up 64.5%.
Yeah, this is one that a number of our traders have been watching this one here today. I'm pretty sure I've seen a number of mentions in this. Okay, so 13 apparently did not care about that. Thought that was funny. I thought it was funny too. I laughed. AISP, is that still doing anything, or did that give us another trade here? Let's see. Sure did. Reclaim VWAP, went a little bit higher. We'll see if we can go to 450 here on AISP. That has been really the only good trade of the day here. Looking around, I don't see a whole lot of anything else going on. Bitcoin holding steady here at 67K on the futures. Bitcoin not even really participating today. This really kind of seems like kind of a blah, low volume day here. RT saying finally spoke with a Schwab rep. So their system's down for anyone who didn't get in early before the market opens. Goes to show you, early bird gets the worm. He was able to close my Apple options though. So that's something else to consider. If you've got positions that need managing, you can always call into their desk there. Looks like RT, I appreciate you sharing this with the group here. Hopefully you didn't get too hurt on that. Easy Mike reminding you, any trades in toss, we always have stops before we log out. That's someone that's been burned before and learned from that lesson, Easy Mike. That's what that tells me. IREN on the scanner here. That is running away from that $10 level. Did we have news on IREN here this morning? Cantor Fitzgerald. Overweight, $23 target. That's more than 100% from where we're at here. Ticker IREN. Lion Atlas, you're asking about PEP. This is one that we took a look at in the happy hour recently as well. What is going on with the data feed here? Let me bring up this chart and I'll show you what we're taking a look at. Let me get actually the better chart up here. I'll show you what the plan is here on PEP. This is actually one that we're kind of waiting out. All right. So last time that we were talking about Pepsi, we were watching it right here around that 50-day. Right here's yesterday. Man, this thing got absolutely smoked. For me here, next stop, what does it do right here about 161? I'm not necessarily trying to buy right here. And if that breaks, what does it do at 159? Pepsi, one of the things that we wanted to see here was if this could reclaim its 200, then we might have a potential long trade. At this point, I'll wait for this to shake out. Let's see if we get one of these other levels to get hit here. It does pay a dividend. In fact, what is the dividend? 3%. So not great, but still something at least they pay to hold it here. Pepsi, I'd be looking for 160 to 161. After we really kind of flushed from this 200-day, let that weakness kind of come out of it. No reason to be a hero right away.
I was going to say Fed Whisperer, Wall Street Journal's Nick Timrose just making some comments, basically just saying that regarding tomorrow's meeting, it's going to be a quiet meeting, of course. The Fed hawks aren't really agitating for a hike. They just don't want to put anything up in a cutting conversation. But this is the first meeting since June of 2020 that CPI and Fed Day fall on the same day. That's I want to shout out Mike Zaccardi. He found that out on X yesterday. So everybody is waiting, of course. But Nick Timrose does say that the case Wednesday, when the release of the May CPI could move one or two rate projections in September. So we're going to have to watch rate projections because I believe we get that tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I think we watch those when they come out all the time, don't we? I feel like that's nothing new for us.
But it's going to be increasingly watched because everybody thinks that a cut could be coming in September or December. We've known that a lot of research firms are now in the camp either September or November or maybe December. There's also 3 research firms that say no cuts this year, and they're moving those out to 2025. So the camp is either September or December or either November or December.
Yeah, I'm still in. I'm going to just go out. I'm going to say no cuts in 2024. I've been on that for a while. I'm going to stay on that. I'm going to try and not adjust here. I'm on no cuts. No cuts for 2024. Real quick here, gap, this on a daily chart, this actually looks like this might be curling here. Watch for it to try to take out this high. Intraday here, this chart actually looks strong. Looks like they bought the dip off the 25 level earlier here, GPS. I think, Jay, correct me if I'm wrong, but did you mention this one earlier? Missed your comment, not sure what you said, but I'm pretty sure I saw this ticker float across. Maybe I'm confusing it with something else. I'm so new to trading. I can't imagine having to call up my broker to make a trade. Never even thought I could just call. It's funny, Glenn, because that used to be how you did it. You call it $25 a trade or whatever it is, depending on the account. Oh my God, it's so much better that we can just click buttons on our computer. Let's be honest.
You guys, anything that can go wrong, it will go wrong. It has gone wrong for me, and just learning how to not have that exposure and walk away and log out. It's very important to really protect yourself here.
Yeah, just careful though. If you log out today and you use Thinkorswim, you might not be able to log back in. That's what we've seen so far. So be careful on that one here. SPY actually on the rebound looking pretty good. And by the way, folks, in just about 5 minutes, we're actually going to have an all access, but stick around because after all access, we're going to be bringing AnMarie on. We got several stocks that you folks mentioned that we're going to take a look at trades on here today. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be here for the next 5 minutes. I think Aaron Bree is going to come back and do all access for us in about 5 minutes.
And Ryan, right about that time, I'm going to get out of here. So I hate to miss AnMarie, but I got to get out of here.
I understand.
Early.
Look, aren't you going to go like wrestle gators or something crazy down there?
No, just have a doctor's appointment today.
Hey, Nick, have you ever seen pictures of Andy kind of floating through some of the rivers back there, pointing out gators and other wildlife? Miraculous stuff.
Yes, always. Andy knows. I always comment on X like, what are you doing? Is it peaceful? Like,
it is so peaceful, Nick. It's amazing. And these creatures, they want nothing to do with us.
That works. I was going to say, given Apple's gain, guys, Apple is about now less than 100 billion behind Microsoft. So watch that. NVIDIA is about 2.9 trillion. Apple's at 3.82 trillion, and then Microsoft still leading 3.176 trillion. So just watch market cap. I'm not sure if we'll overtake that today or this week, given this event. We'll continue to watch the Apple event. Again, not much going on today. It's rather a quiet summer Tuesday.
Yeah, sure feels like that. AISP, maybe, if this breaks out of this formation here, 433-ish, maybe on that. Ryan, how come DM moved 800%? It didn't. Straight up, let's see. Jonathan, I have no idea what you're talking about, dude. No clue what you're talking about.
Oh, that's awesome. Looks like somebody received the coin, so that's pretty cool.
Oh, this was a reverse split. This chart is adjusted for reverse splits. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael. A reverse split chart is adjusted for that. Andy, which coin? So someone got one of the coins that you sent out?
Yeah, somebody got one of the coins we sent out, and
Buzz Lightyear. How you doing, Buzz?
And guys, there's going to be something even maybe perhaps more awesome going on soon, so make sure you stay tuned.
That's Thursday, isn't it?
Yeah, Ryan, it is.
Okay. We look. 13 goes on vacation. We know we need to give the people something. Andy did not let us down. That's basically what I hear here. Real good stuff here, Andy. Market seems to be doing all right? Holding in from that early morning sell-off. Looks like we're kind of green across the board here. Qs, it was unchanged. SPY looks like it's trying to go green, not quite green yet. Let's check the diamonds, DIA. We're close. Let's see if we get a red-green move here on the market. We were unchanged on the NASDAQ there. Chewy holding in there. AISP, look, it went right. It took that formation out. Next spot here going to be the highs 460 AISP. Apple's still at the highs. Tesla bounce still materializing. So Tesla's still bouncing here. Stopping at its VWAP. We'll see if we can cross over there. I got nothing else though here, folks.
So I'm really excited for Thursday, Ryan. And just to be clear, I'm coming back tomorrow too.
Yeah, I hope so.
Awesome. Can't wait to see you guys.
Yeah, we got Andy all week. Andy, I mean, look, we're gonna try to spoil people here. I know it's the summer, but we're gonna try and spoil people. We'll get you all week.
That's all I ever try to do.
And we're doing something special on Thursday.
Yeah, that's all I ever try to do, Ryan. Spoil people the best I can, give when I can, and help out new traders, especially. I mean, I really would love that if new traders just, I think they get really stuck listening to things online and not getting really great information sometimes. So. Yeah,
the other thing that I think about online, like at least the help material that I went over, it was a lot about like it would show wins, right? It would show a process or an indicator or a study or some chart formation that would end up in a win. That's the easy stuff. That's the easy stuff. It's the losses that really are going to make you as a trader. How do you respond to losses? How do you cut losers? How do you stay in according to your plan? How do you manage your risk? Those are the things that really kind of help traders advance to the next level. Those are the things that we share here more so than just stock picks. You're welcome, Michael. Appreciate you. Intel's moving. Wasn't there something on Intel earlier, a big options sweep or something like that on Intel? Intel definitely moving. Let me see if I can filter these on the options.
I was going to say there was a report yesterday that Intel was halting their construction of a new factory in Israel.
Yeah, that I can understand with the macro stuff going on. Did see a whole bunch of stuff on Intel here. So the most recent thing that I saw here was a put sweep that these are leaps, right? So these expire January 16th, 2026. 1,500 of those 33 puts were bought. Now, maybe they sold them. About $1 million in premium on that trade. Saw that one earlier here. Action looks kind of on both sides of the fence here for Intel. Some of it's pretty big, though. See, AISP, that kept going here, folks. That went to the highs and through on AISP. Hopefully you folks hit that one. Great stuff. You know what? Finally, we're going to get some sound effects in here. Awesome stuff on AISP. This has really been the only thing that we've been able to trade here today. All right, I think we are almost time here for All Access. We are waiting on Aaron Bree, and we will go ahead and get started there.
Hey, thanks for having me today, Ryan. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yep. No problem, Andy. Thank you so much for filling in. Really, really appreciate it. We will see you here tomorrow. Smash up the like for my guy, Andy.
Have a good one, guys. Thanks.
Yep, take care, my man.
Ryan, it's always a pleasure to be on this show, but literally today was so, I don't want to say it was boring, but like there's nothing to really talk and discuss.
Yeah, I know. It was really kind of a slow day here. Let's give thanks to everyone here that signed on with us here today. Not a whole lot going on. We made the most of it, though.
What
Nick,
is up, y'all?
What's going on, AB?
How y'all doing?
We're doing. It's a slow day here. What do you got for us?
We have an exciting all access coming up. We've got Diamond Lake Minerals, company that's publicly traded on the OTC markets under ticker DLMI. Very interesting company in the digital asset space. I'm excited to talk to the CEO, Brian Esposito. That should be in a few moments here. As far as the market, yeah, when we were doing pre-market prep this morning, it seemed a little bit like a slower news day. I mean, a lot of people still taking in the Apple news from yesterday, of course, NVIDIA after the split. So we still had some things to talk about, but not a lot of supermarket moving headlines ahead of tomorrow's CPI report.
No, it sure feels like traders are actually waiting for that report as well as the Fed. Apple, Nick did a really good job covering the Worldwide Developers Conference here this morning. We got some more stuff here today. We'll see what that means. AB, you're a big Apple fanboy, aren't you?
I own the stock. I wouldn't say I'm like the biggest fanboy of Apple in the world. Like I think my thing with owning Apple right now is it's more so just about like the valuation. I think it's a cash cow. I don't think like
Yeah.
there's a couple things I'm excited about for Apple in the long term. I think what they're doing with their own chips is exciting, and I
Yeah,
do
me too.
think I think the Vision Quest stuff, like the headset stuff, was still a little early, and it might take some time. But I think like the technology there is really cool, and down the road there might be some more applications. But that's like again the Vision Quest stuff. I'm not as bullish on Apple producing their own AI chips and being able to kind of in-house a lot of this stuff instead of being fully reliant on Nvidia and other companies. I think is exciting. So I'd put myself at like a 7 on Apple
Okay.
if 10 was fully bullish, 1 was fully bearish.
Okay, fair enough. 7, that seems like a pretty good rating. I was just saying at the beginning of this, there was a couple of features that I really liked here, but still nothing that's going to get me to switch.
Yeah, yesterday was kind of a dud, I'll
be.
be honest. And I was expecting them to talk a little bit more about the actual chips and like their in-house technology rather than just some of these features that they teased yet. But either way, I mean, Apple will be Apple. And for the past 20 years, any significant dip has been worth buying, and yesterday was no different. And wow, I didn't even see it was up 5% today. Holy cow, that's a big move on Apple.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go ahead and transition into our all access today. Again, we do have Brian Esposito, CEO of Diamond Lake Minerals, hanging out with us backstage. Ryan, Nick, as always, thank you guys for running the show here.
No problem. We'll see me and Nick tomorrow. I'll be back for AnMarie here in a little bit.
All right, guys, if this is your first time tuning in with us on All Access, this is where we bring you unparalleled access to publicly traded companies. We bring those executives straight on the show and learn more about the companies, as well as maybe get in some of your questions in the chat. So make sure to drop those in the chat if you guys have any questions. So without further ado, let's go ahead and welcome my man, Brian Esposito, onto All Access. All right, Brian Esposito, CEO of Diamond Lake Minerals. Welcome back to Benzinga Stream. How are you doing today?
Hey, good, Aaron. Good to see you. You've been with us since the beginning, so I appreciate all your support.
Hey, we like to have companies on that we're familiar with, friendly faces. So today's no different. And I know we got you on a day where you guys announced some exciting news as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Been honored to get this out to the market. We've been working really hard with wonderful technology and company known as Upstream or Horizon Fintechs. If you saw what I've been building here at DLMI since I took over last August, it's almost a year. It's crazy. Feels like 100 years, but we're moving fast. Has been get our brand out there. Who are we in the market? Get our story out there. Let the people know what we're building and how we're building it and where we know and believe the future is going for digital securities and how companies like ours want to participate in that space and do it correctly, right? Do it in the framework and the guidelines of the laws and regulatory. And today, another monumental day for what we've been building on our partnerships and technology stacks behind the scenes as to how we're accomplishing that and how we're creating a one-stop shop for investors around the world. This particular partnership is really focused on international investors because we have so many people that want to be part of DLMI and what we're building and what we're creating and bringing to the market. So this is a key piece to that story. And we're trying to do everything possible to make it as easy for investors to understand what digital assets are, what things like security tokens are, and how they can have these in their portfolio outside of going through a lot of the friction points of understanding this, downloading a digital wallet, putting their information into an exchange they may not know or trust. We want to be that stock in their portfolio that's correctly focused in this industry.
Yeah, and I mean it's like you said. I mean, when you have your head down and you're working on these things, the time tends to move quickly. But it's always exciting to hear these fundamental updates. I do see the other Brian is now joining us with us. It's a Brian party here. We've got Brian Esposito and Brian Collins, the CEO of Upstream. Brian Collins, how are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well, Aaron. How are you?
I'm good. So I guess I'll do last names here to make it less confusing. But Mr. Esposito, do you want to? I should have asked you off the hop, but for those who aren't familiar, like you said, we've had you on before, so I am. But for those who aren't, you mind giving just a brief overview of Diamond Lake Minerals, kind of what you guys are doing and what the company's mission is?
Yeah, we are a proudly headquartered Salt Lake City company where I currently am, and building our new campus and the whole team around our vision. Company's been based in Salt Lake City since 1954. And when I've taken over last August as CEO, it was to bring a brand new vision and structure and strategy to the company. And what I've been building here is much similar to what I've done in my private career, GE structure, parent umbrella. Our whole vision is to find, acquire, start, and build companies that we know will add value to our shareholders, and that we know with our advisory board and our reach and our relationships, we can fuel those companies to be extremely profitable and be great assets on our balance sheet. And the vision is to share those rewards with our shareholders. The fun part about us and my experience in tokenization or security tokens or regulated digital assets is, how do we apply that into a public vehicle, and how do we bring the opportunity to investors around the world to participate in our companies and be part of our journey? So, we're old school in our vision. You want to be in business, you got to have earnings. You want to stay in business, you got to be profitable. That's been my theory since I've been an entrepreneur. And now with great partners like with Mr. Collins and Upstream, we are putting together this amazing back and technology stack where we can invite these people into our companies, and we can be proud to have this global impact on who we are, what we're building. And I'm not to sound obnoxious, but I think we are creating what future public companies models will look like.
And then, I mean, I know you discussed the deal a little bit, Brian, but and I'll throw this up to both of you guys. But can we talk a little bit more about the details and terms of this deal and what it will mean for Diamond Lake investors?
Absolutely. For us, there's multiple segments of this deal. So we've yet to announce, except for Boxable, which we've announced with you guys as well, our vision and the businesses and the operations and projects that are going to be coming into DLMI. So now that we have what I believe is this missing piece that we needed to go out to a global audience, we can begin to bring our companies online that we've identified that will be under the DLMI umbrella. So with Mr. Collins's company and Upstream, we have the ability now to go out legally and under their license and wonderful technology and exchange to go out to these investors that love DLMI. We have such a massive amount of international interest because a lot of the audience in certain parts of the world outside of the US really understand what we're doing. In the US market is still a lot of education, which we're honored and continue to do, but there's so much capital interest to be part of what we're doing. So now with Upstream and Globex and Fintechs, Horizon Fintechs, we can go out and do that. So there's that aspect of it. And then we have a marketing agreement with the company too, where we can work together on bringing great projects, vetted projects to this system or this program, support these projects, and really bring great opportunities and companies to the market that we believe in, that we believe have great potential. And then the domino effect are the participants that are buying into those projects have the rewards of the increased value that we create together.
Sure, and just on a top level viewpoint on who we are, basically, we are a regulated securities exchange, the only one in the world that I'm aware of that tokenizes securities on a regulated basis with oversight from a full-on regulator. So you file a prospectus to list on our exchange, but we tokenize your securities under ERC20. Those tech nerds around will know what I mean. But we are basically tokenizing securities on our exchange, which allows us, Aaron, to address a global audience because you simply have to download an app. You don't have to go through a stockbroker. You don't have to prove your net worth. You don't have to do any of those kind of, I call them elitist steps. We're really democratizing and open up securities trading to everybody, whether they're in Argentina, Vietnam, Ireland, Switzerland, doesn't matter. We're able to open up Mr. Esposito's companies to a global investor base who are token savvy, but ultimately we are a non-custodial system, but we are fully regulated. So I think that's what really makes a key difference into what we're offering Mr. Esposito and his company, and how we feel is that we will have a win-win together in that our visions are very, very aligned. I know our names are very aligned too. And to confuse things even more, I'm a Brian J as well, so I didn't even put Brian J in there. So yeah, that's, I think from this announcement today, it really is it's a big step for Diamond Lake, and we're delighted to have Mr. Esposito and his team, align with our vision, which is very, very cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a huge total addressable market when you're talking about the global, appetite and demand for different digital tokens out there. Esposito, you say this is in line with your commitment to intellectual pooling of visionary management teams and technologies. Do you mind talking a little bit about that more and explain that?
Yeah, and I've always been a young entrepreneur. I don't know if I can say young anymore at 43. So, but I will say in this space, it has been very important to me to work with seasoned, experienced leaders such as Mr. Collins and his teams, people that have worked with regulatory, people that understand what can and cannot be said, what needs to be the whole compliance component around it. There's so many young fired up people that want to change the world and change the systems, and that's amazing. God bless you. That's part of humanity. But there's also the realities of rules, regulations, and laws. And I have this really important commitment to my shareholders that we always protect this company, we protect our shareholders, and we do everything within the guidelines of the law. So there's so many great other technologies and teams out there, but I could never work with them because they don't have what Mr. Collins and his team have, and that experience, and they've worked with these regulators, and they decades of working with them, and nothing's changed there. So I can't go out guns blazing and say, hey, we're going to do everything differently. You don't need this government. You don't need this bank. I mean, when I hear that, I'm like, that's amazing, but that's also not the way to do things. Now we're building this company the correct way. It is a slow and correct, methodical, yet very calculated move of everything that we've done at DLMI, even from our advisors. They've all been so specifically chosen for what we're building here. And then the tech stack, it was very important that we vetted and went through all these different companies and teams to make sure who aligns with our ethics, our integrity, our responsibilities, and how do we go to market correctly with what we want to build. So honored that we came to a great agreement with Mr. Collins and his team. Honored that we were immediately aligned, I think, from conversation on one as to what we're trying to do and how we're going to go about doing it. And when things change in certain markets in certain regions, we're going to be right there, ready to turn that switch on. But in the meantime, we're going very strong internationally with the big interest and brand that DLMI has created, and we're doing it proudly with Upstream.
Yeah, well, again, congratulations on the partnership. That's very exciting news. Just talking about the overall environment, is tokenization picking up steam? How have you seen adoption change over the past year or so?
Well, from our point, we have a lot of issuers coming to us because we can tokenize common stock, Aaron, right? So it's important to understand we don't come from an STO type background. We come from companies that have common stock, and we're allowed to tokenize it. So we have a lot of companies coming to us to ask us to tokenize a portion of their common stock as issued, and their shareholders come and deposit those shares with us legally, compliantly, to open up liquidity and broaden their appeal to a global investor base. Because Mr. Esposito and his team, remember, have a very international narrative. It isn't specific to any region, town, state, and so on. It's very global. Their vision is very, very global. So for us, we're getting a lot of interest in companies coming to list on the Upstream exchange, file their paperwork with us, which is pretty straightforward. And because dual listing with us, we will accept or adopt your filings from your home exchange, whether that's USA, Canada, London, etc. We will adopt those filings, and you can dual list with us, and thereby opening yourself up to a lot of investors, basically liquidity throughout the world. And I think that frictionless ability to come and trade securities legally, compliantly, safely means no one's going to run away with your money, no one's going to run away with your shares. You are bound by the rules of the system and secured by the rules of the system, I think, which is really important.
Yeah, that's such a big factor, is having that regulation and safety nets, because I think especially in the digital asset space, I mean, after a lot of the big, you look back at FTX and certain things, that people really want to have that type of peace of mind when they're investing in some of these digital assets. With that said, I'll throw this up to both of you guys. How popular do you see this process and tokenization becoming in the next 5 years?
I'll throw that for you, Brian, for now, and I'll give you my.
Well, it depends what market or region you're speaking about, but I will say from my standpoint, the interest is there. The friction points of how to get there, that's always been a problem. And someone that's built technologies for a long time and understands user experience, one of the big plans here with Diamond Lake Minerals is creating a very easy process to go about and get involved in the tokenization of some real world asset or a project or a company within our own umbrella. With that being said, when FTX collapsed, I was on the impression that security tokens were going to explode because they were much more protected investment. They're run by seasoned entrepreneurs. There's a whole plan. There's prospectus. That didn't happen. And that was one of the major reasons why I took over DLMI. I said, well, let's create something that people are familiar with. They know how to buy a stock. So let's be that stock in their portfolio that is correctly focused on this industry while we're using all traditional means of capital and business development and everything that's done to date to build value for shareholders. And oh yeah, by the way, we have a security token component. So from my standpoint, if you're talking about the US market, it's when you go on your Charles Schwab account, you go on your Morgan Stanley account, and they have a security token offer, and you click and you buy it. That's when it becomes massive. But with what we want to build with Mr. Collins and a lot of our other wonderful technology stack partners is what is the easiest way to be involved. And like Mr. Collins said, downloading their app, it's such an easy process. It's regulated, they're protected. So when you implement that with a great product or a program that we're creating together, and then you start to show value, you start to show returns or dividend distributions or some sort of increased value in the principal value, the key component, which is what I have been very good at in my history and what our team is very good at, is creating excitement, demand, and interest. Because if there's no secondary market, if these people want to exit, then what have you created? You've created somebody stuck with a dormant asset. And we do not want to do that. We want to create so much demand and strength and support. And again, the only way you do that is you perform and you execute and you create valuable assets and valuable companies. So that is our vision and that's our strategy. And we could not do that without great partners like Mr. Collins. So popularity is going to get there. It's education. It's getting people used to it. It's getting people comfortable with it. But we're going to create something that I believe is going to be as easy as possible for people to participate in it.
At one point I would make on top of that I would say for adaptability, Aaron, as you mentioned, and excitement for tokenization, dual listing a company like DLMI with us means there's an arbitrage opportunity. So if, for instance, if you have heavy selling for whatever reason in the USA, you can actually withdraw those shares, deposit them on upstream, and actually cause the buying over on upstream and create an arb opportunity. So if you sell basically low and I buy those back from a heavy seller or whatever, I can always send them over to upstream and get a better price. So typical arb, whether it's arb on ETFs or whether it's arb on intercompany dual listing, then that's something that we try to take away the notion of tokenization. We just want you to trade securities. They happen to be tokenized. I think that's an easy way to put it.
Yeah, a lot of opportunity there for traders. Well, again, Brian's, it was great to have you guys on. Congratulations again on the partnership announced today. I'll drop the link to our Benzinga article covering that partnership in the chat if you guys want to read some more details about that. Again, Diamond Lake Minerals trading under the ticker DLMI on the OTC markets. Brian, anything else you guys would like to leave us with today?
Not from me. It's been a pleasure to work with you guys and your wonderful team at Benzinga. Thanks for always supporting us and our vision and what we're doing in the market. And we have a lot more work to do and we're just getting started. So we're excited about today's announcement and thank you to all of our shareholders and partners around the world.
Yeah, and finally, from us, we're excited to work with Mr. Esposito and his team. Can't wait to get tokenizing their assets and getting them traded and bringing in a whole new investor base, whole new liquidity to his ticker.
And this is what's awesome, guys, is like on Benzinga All-Access, we get to have, executives from these companies that are working in growing spaces and that are movers and shakers and doing things outside of the box. So always great to hear directly from you guys. And Brian Esposito, Brian Collins, anytime you guys have some more updates and you want to hop on our stream and talk about them with our audience, we'd love to have you. And with that, I'll let you guys get back to your Tuesday because I know you guys are very, very busy.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks,
Stay well.
Brian.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you to everyone who tuned in to today's All Access. Again, that was Diamond Lake Minerals. Ticker is up there on the screen. Oh, there it is. I didn't know which side it was on. DLMI OTC markets. Got to go check them out. Again, I dropped that link in the chat as well to the news article if you want some more. If you want some more details there. Oh, and look, guys, the Bryans. If you guys are still here, if you need an engineer, we've got one in the chat that's looking for work. So. Maybe something else good will come out of this appearance. But with that, let me go ahead and bring my man Ryan Paluna back on the stream. Paluna.
Real quick there, AB. I appreciate you shouting out Robert. He is definitely participates in our chat here. But one quick note, if he does take a new job there, he's got to keep that 4 to 5 hour free. He's a regular contributor in happy hour, and we don't want to lose him.
Well, and not to mention my 10% finder's fee, 10% of total salary.
Right.
For
So
finding him the job.
A number of things there.
We can even bump that up to 15. We'll negotiate later, Robert.
Okay. Yeah, we won't do it on camera here. Good stuff, though.
All right. Well, again, thank you to everyone who tuned in to All Access. Smash the like. We're gonna hand it over to Ryan here, who's gonna be doing some great options content with AnMarie. Looks like Apple's kind of giving up a little bit of gains here. I mean, I say that, but at the end of the day, it's still up 4.8% on the day, but definitely dropped about $1 here, going from 203.40 to 202.40. So anyone who was chasing and trying to buy weekly calls up here might have gotten slammed a little bit there. But otherwise, if you're an Apple, you're smiling from cheek to cheek right now.
Yeah, indeed. And the pullback here on Apple might pin you at the VWAP, which might be right around 200. So even if you end up taking a trade for tomorrow off that 200 level giddy up, you might still be good there. We'll ask AnMarie, though. We'll see what she thinks about it.
All right, guys, that'll be it for me today on the streams. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 8 a.m. on Pre-Market Prep.
All right, AB, take care of yourself. I didn't re-add you. Somebody else did that. All right. AB leaves a spot open for the one and only AnMarie. Let me go ahead and change some of the branding here. We'll go ahead and bring AnMarie on. AnMarie, how are you doing here today?
I'm doing really well. How about you?
Okay, well, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. I will say, though, that this morning has been extremely boring. It is. I'm hoping that you can rescue us, because we have, our show here. We're tracking a lot of these movers, even if they're kind of crummy stocks that don't really have a future. If they're moving around, we try to make trades out of them. I'll be honest. Today was dry. My scanner is still dry here. I know you heard right at the end there, I kind of threw Apple onto our docket there. I do have a couple of other stocks that we should cover here, including a leftover one from last week, CIEN. But in any case, it has been really, really slow here today. Let's see what you got.
So very interestingly, my Schwab / Thinkorswim platform will not open. And so
that's right. Okay. Let me see.
Can yours open?
I see, AnMarie, the early bird gets the worm. I was at my terminal at 6 o'clock in the morning Central today, and I was able to log in. Let me see if I don't have this set up for you the way that you have it. So give me a sec here. Let me see if I can break something out, and we'll see if we can handle this problem in real time.
Yeah, because I think I can go to the schwab.com site and get the pricing, but it's very wonky looking, super ugly. And so, but right now, my Schwab will not open. And of course, the Ameritrade won't open either.
Yeah. So real quickly, what's going on here is anyone that it's their login server that is down. That is down. And so anyone that's logged in doesn't have trouble, but anyone that is not logged in cannot log in. And I don't think I need to tell you that is the worst when you can't log into your what do you call it? To your platform. Excuse me.
Yeah.
All right. Let me see if I can get this here. Let's see.
In the meantime, if you want to, I did cover. Oh, wait. Yes, you were in early.
I'm the best. I was in at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Without a doubt. I was trading futures on another platform. And so,
okay.
Early bird, I was not.
I am going to do the best that I can here. Remember, AnMarie, you are, I know you didn't like the Queen moniker, but you are a pro when it comes to these multi-leg options trades. I am not. So you're going to have to do the driving here. I will click on the buttons here, but you are going to have to tell me where to go. Let's go ahead and get started here.
Okay, so we're going to use some tricks of the trades. And when we start talking about things, I'm going to show you how to automatically populate legs and then change the legs if you want them. So
Okay.
woohoo. So
Sounds
we
good.
talked about CIEN on Friday in the very quickly we went over it. And then when I did my Zoom meeting for the members, we discussed it. But the problem with CIEN is not anything specific, but it really does not have a lot of volatility. And so when it doesn't have a lot of volatility, what tends to happen is that the spreads get very difficult to capitalize upon. And so as we look at CIEN, the only things that I saw were to move in a directional space. And so let me open up another chart.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to get the Analyze tab up here for you. So let me try and adjust this. Again, folks, I know this is not an us thing. This is a Thinkorswim not allowing our pro to log into her account here. So I apologize, but we're going to do the best we can. We're going to work through stuff like this, AnMarie. We handle stuff like this like it's not a big deal. So here we go. So here's your Analyze tab. Okay. So let's go ahead. I think this is what you use, CIEN. No, you probably use the trade tab. Help me out here, AnMarie. I've already messed this up.
I use add simulated trades up at the very top.
Ah, right here.
Yes.
There it is. There it is. See? Okay. Okay. Where are we going?
Okay.
I have to share the screen. What on earth am I doing? Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
If you think, hey, listen, Eli Lilly is on the run. Who else is on the run? There are a few pharma things that are moving. And what CIEN is insurance or pharma?
Again, boy, let me pull that up here. I need another window. So I do have a couple of others here. I know you said CIEN was low volume there. Network and technology company provides network hardware, software, and services.
CIEN?
Did I screw this up again? Boy, we are having all types of problems. CIEN, Sienna Corporation Common Stock here.
Yeah.
Sienna Corp Network and Technology Company. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So, okay.
Yeah. So these guys are lifting. If we were to take a look at, let me go ahead and share my screen. I'm going to show a trend spider.
Perfect.
Is that fine?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, trend spider friends of Benzinga here.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to do present, share screen, entire screen. And so maybe you'll see it. Yeah. Lovely. Okay. So here we are looking at a weekly chart, and we can see a very good base and then a bounce up. And so what I've done is put an anchored VWAP at the lowest low and the highest high. And everything is underneath both of those VWAPs. And so the problem is, from a buying perspective, it still looks weak because the highest high, the traders who went long there are saying, holy cow, I'm underwater. And the traders who went on average at the open of the lowest low, they're also underwater. And so this chart is not going to show any really nice motion until it gets above 5260. And this little snazzy feature over here, which I'm going to try to make a little wider. I don't know if it will. This is the unusual options event for CIEN. And it does show that there's one group that's traded 969 options, the 50 calls expiring in July. And so that's a really nice one to take a peek at and say, hey, maybe that's interesting. But the premium, what is that premium? If you're looking,
50% ask on that contract.
How much?
55 cents on the ask on that contract.
Okay, so 55 cents.
It's 45 by 55 is your spread on that.
Okay, so it's got a 10-point spread, not too bad. You could probably get it at the mark if you put it in. That's if it moved up to 50, that would mean that it would move 10%. Now, it has moved more than 10% in a week before. We did notice that in the earnings space, it had earnings, a surprise downside of negative 65%. But the earnings per share was to the upside. And so it's not broken the low of the nearest last low, but it's really got to get through this candlestick this week before I would consider that. So if you said to yourself, hey, I'm going to do it, I would say, I don't think the probabilities are great there. I really don't.
Hey, look, sometimes that's the case. Sometimes the best trade is no trade, right? AnMarie, and that's that. Look, at least we analyze that. I think it was Ray that asked about this. If Ray's not here, I'll be sure to reach out to him again. We can always come back to this if things change here. I do have two more, though, on the list that I know are going to be moving. We can do Apple if we run out of time here. I know Apple's got their Worldwide Developer Conference, but the two that were asked about were going to be NVIDIA and Snow. Both of those stocks were getting looked at today. Snow had a CEO change. So there's definitely some news in there that might be affecting these. And I'm pretty sure that both of these are going to be liquid enough for us to come up with some potential trades here.
Absolutely. Now have a look at the Snow on the weekly. So it's been a hot minute since I've looked at Snow. Perfect. And interestingly enough, it's coming in right into one of the sports thumbs that I've drawn in the past. And here is what we're seeing. Here is a low, a very low low, and then here is a high that's higher than these guys, but well off the high of the SPAC craze. And this dip event on a weekly formation shows buyers here, buyers here, buyers here. What do you know? Maybe we could have buyers there. So let's take a look at where these buyers are positioning. Out of the money calls, somebody's got the 140 calls. They spent 1.8 million in premium, expires January 2025 from those call perspectives. And then they've got the 130 puts. So let's pull in. I know. So it could be somebody hedging. So let's leave the premium wide, but let's pull in these strikes just a little bit so we can start seeing where people are positioning. So I'm going to use the 115 as the lowest strike, and then let's see what's happening. So some folks are looking into January and buying the 120 puts. That could be some kind of protection. Look at the call action sitting up here at the 140 and 50s, and those are all into September. Now, we know that September and October are normally the worst producing positive ratings for a stock. So we don't want to buy calls that expire in September. We want them to expire in July or August. And so if we look at July, whoa, deep in the money calls, 130, 135, 140, 145. All right, this is where folks are sitting. So let's Let's take a look at that. 150s.
And
Go
you know,
ahead.
I'm actually looking at, while you were saying that here, I'm actually, I have CIEN up. It would help if I had the right stock up, right, AnMarie? I'm
Yeah.
looking at that July contract here, and I see plenty of open interest in volume and pretty much all of the strikes around this at 130, which is nearly at the money here. I think we should be good.
Yeah. Okay. So perfect. So if we looked at the 130 to, let's see about, let's look at 135 to 145 to 155 for July, and from a butterfly. So let me show you how to do that.
Okay, so let me go ahead and throw my thing back on here. So here we go. And again, I apologize that I don't have all of the correct
no worries
on here. Okay.
Take a look. Up at the very top, you're going to see, look further down into the first gray that says last X next change. Okay, look to the left of that. You're going to see it says vertical. Yeah. Go down and choose butterfly.
Let's do that.
Okay. So here's how it's super easy. Are we in July?
We are in the July monthly.
Okay, so let's go to the, I can't see that very well. Just pick any one of them. 130.
So we can change them. This is actually how I enter butterflies here. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to be buying. Are we buying or selling? Okay, so we're going to click on the ask here to buy. And now once we have this in here, we can actually adjust these prices any way that we want. So why don't we start with the body, AnMarie, and then we'll go to the upper and lower wings. We'll get the same numbers in here.
Okay, so 135 is the top.
Yeah.
145 is the middle.
Okay, so I see.
Just highlight it.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. So no, I'm sorry. It was 125. So 145 is the middle. What do we want to make the top? 10 away again?
10 points away. Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to make
135, 145, 155.
That's it.
Yep.
And that's a 144 debit.
Yep. And so that is going to give us the highest probability of a bounce that moves into the formation. So let's talk about how we might enter something like this. So Charles Dow says the definition of trend is a series of lower highs and lower lows, or a series of higher highs and higher lows. Well, what do we have? A series of lower lows and lower highs. And so we might be stepping in front of the bus here. So here is what I would recommend. I would say put that trade on, but in the queue, put it in there for 75 cents and say good till cancel.
Okay, so then basically what you're saying is we want to change this debit to 0.75.
Exactly.
And then we want to change the order, where is that?
It won't be until you say, hey, turn this into a real order. Okay. So you would do it on another screen.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. You do it on your actual trade screen.
Right, because we're in the ad simulated trades. I was like, why does this look different? Thank you for staying on top of it there. Okay.
So that's what we would do. So we try get in on the cheap. Because remember, tomorrow we've got a huge day.
Yep.
What's tomorrow? FOMC. Things go absolutely batty. And we could get this really cheap. So I would say put one in at 75 and then put one in at 65. And then maybe put one in at 85. And then that way you have 3 butterflies for less than 260 or something like that. And the total cost would be 260. And then your upshot would be, $30 minus 260.
Okay, awesome. So you're actually trying to stagger some of that and scale in there. By the way, the other thing to keep in mind is that in the morning before the market opens, we have CPI. So tomorrow, Nick gave us that stat earlier. We have CPI and Fed on the same day. I forgot what he said. It hasn't happened in a long time. But you're right, AnMarie, because tomorrow's going to be a wild day, I feel like.
Yeah.
And we need it
is.
because the rest of this has been boring.
I know. We're going to have a wild rest of the week, I think.
Okay.
Because we really are compressing. So that is the top note for any trades that we want to put in. We want to anticipate tomorrow is going to give us some of the best prices we could have.
Okay.
And so we want to low price it. Listen, a lot of us go, what if it doesn't fill me? Listen, the market's a buffet. You're going to come in and find everything you love to eat. But if you do not want to get a green bean and grape jelly sandwich on white bread, you need to tell the market what you. Is that the most disgusting thing?
I don't want that. I'm just going to go out on a limb there. That sounds awful.
And I stole that from a friend of mine who was I eat all sorts of crazy things mixed together. And he said that many years ago. He said, you know what? I'm going to come in one day and you're going to have a green bean and grape jelly sandwich on right bed. And
you've never done that.
Thought I thought it was so disgusting. I'm like, I've got to remember that. That's funny. So I did steal it. So yes, that's it. And so tomorrow might give you that sense of liquidity that you want. So the next one, of course, is NVIDIA, right?
Yep. Let's do that one. Okay.
Yep.
And we're going to do the same thing here, right, AnMarie? We're still going to work on butterflies, and we're still going to do the little bit lower pricing with good till cancel to try and get a better fill on that bid.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So a lot of people are saying, it's time for me to stop looking at NVIDIA as the pure cash cow. And let's see what's going on in the chart. So for me, this does not look like a very good chart, right? It's got a monster wick up at 190, and then it's completely faded into, the close of last week. And now, we had a 10-for-1 split. Also, the Chipotle is going to be 50-1 soon at the end of the month. Yep. So that might be one we want to put on our list to see if we can turn it into some sort of trading vehicle event.
Definitely.
So this space here tells me that we are still bullish, but we could have ourselves a little bit of a pullback. Right now, the anchored VWAPs are very bullish. The moving average is bullish. The daily VWAP is not bullish. We are sitting below an edge of that daily VWAP. And we've got a sideways action that says, I'm not headed higher. I'm headed a little lower, but at the end of the day, people come in to buy all the time. So the question might be, what kind of trade do we want? Are we thinking it's going to stall out for a while and then pop? Are we thinking there's going to be news? Because here's what I saw. AMD fell off a cliff after this split. And my thought is people are thinking, well, I've only been buying AMD because it's a cheaper alternative, right? And so if it's a cheaper alternative, and then all of a sudden AMD is the same price, well, I'm leaving AMD and I'm going over to NVIDIA.
Yeah.
And so this is what I'm thinking. So the fades are going to be buy zones. The question is, if we're sitting in some kind of butterfly action, what do we want that to be? And this one might be a little bit expensive because we could have a threshold at 195. Let's take a look and see what the traders are doing here. And let's look at these strikes. We've got 114 calls, 122 calls, 126 calls, but look at where they're all sitting underneath the current price. And so this could be a hangover fade that takes us into a deeper support before we buy again. And so remember, we had the pre-split buying frenzy, and now we have the after split hangover. And so don't ask me why. It feels like it ought to be the other way around, but I'm not smart enough to figure some of the things out that these folks do. I really am not. And so what we have to think about is what seems like the best thing to do. And in my mind, I would go twofold. One, I would do a short put spread way out of the money to give me some premium, right? So I would maybe do a 105, 110 vertical and have it out in, no, I would have a 105, 100 vertical out into September, maybe August, something like that. I don't know how much premium we would get. We'd probably get a fair amount. And then for the butterfly off into the August area, I would try the 125, 135, 145. So let's see what that pricing together looks like for us in this particular space.
Okay, so here I started here with the vertical. We bought the.
You want to sell it?
Oh, excuse me. There we go. So here we go. So we just flipped. That's really
credit?
easy to do as well. Okay, so we get a $4 credit on this. Let's make sure I have this set up correctly. We've got a 105 and 110 as the strikes.
Okay, so make that 105 to 100. So we would sell the 105s and buy the 100s.
That gives us a 435 debit.
Okay, so we would sell.
Sell the 105s and buy
sell
the 100s.
105s and buy the 100s. That should give us a credit.
Unless I did it wrong here. Sell.
Are you on the
10.
call side or the put side?
It looks like I'm on the call side. Yep.
Yeah,
that would be why. That would be why. Let's change it to the put side.
Yeah.
Hey, AnMarie. Don't argue with AnMarie, folks. Here we go. 60-cent credit.
Okay, so that seems more reasonable. All right, and then let's go up to our vertical space and drop down, do the butterfly.
Got it.
And let's take that one also out to August and do the call side.
Okay.
And
what you hear again? Let me just go ahead and plop it. Then we'll go ahead and change these. I think you said
125.
Yep.
125, 135, and then 145.
There you go. So that says it's not traded. This is the.
Okay, so let's.
Yeah.
Oh, because it's split. All right. Do the drop down and let's have a. See where it says 125? See the drop down? Let's 125 is something they are offering in the strike location, right?
Yeah. Oh no, it looks like 124. Well, no, here all we have to do is expand this and it'll show 125s. Yeah, 125s are right here. 124, 124 and a half, 125.
Okay, so what is it not offering? How about going to, see how it says butterfly? Now go to single up at the very top. Yeah, go single. All right, now let's scroll down and see which strikes are not being offered. Is it the 135 or the 145?
Oh gosh, I'm going to need to go much more than this. Here we go. Here's the 135 is not offered. It's 134 and 136.
Okay. All right, so do 134.
Now, do we want to keep the 10? Do we want to do 124 on the other end of that? Do we want to still keep it $10?
Yeah.
Okay. And then this does work. So if we go 124, 134, 144, that gives us a 135 debit. That paired with the 59-cent credit, there's your two prices.
Right. And so once again, tomorrow, don't execute today. What you want to do for the 60 cent, you want to make it maybe $1 or $1.10.
Okay.
Right? For good till cancel. And then
Yeah.
for the debit, you said it was how much? One what?
138.
Okay, I would say try to make it 90 cents, maybe
Okay.
even 80 cents.
Okay, we're going to split the difference and go 85 then.
Perfect. Perfect. And then put it in good till cancel.
Okay, so here you go. Here is that trade. Remember, we are combining here a vertical and a butterfly. You got a 110 credit on the vertical, 85 cent on the debit. The key here to getting this filled at these prices, as AnMarie just said, make sure you have that good till cancel turned on your order and just let it sit there and see if it fills. So we've done that here in the simulated trade, but if you go to place these, make sure you adjust that good till cancel.
Absolutely. Are you guys looking at First Solar at all?
Not at the moment. We can, though, real quick, if you want to do that before we head off for the day.
Yeah, sure. Sounds great. So First Solar could be breaking out.
Here, let me put your chart up here. We'll do your charts, and then we'll do the. I got it. Got it figured out.
Look at us. We are masters and commanders, are we not?
Yeah, you can throw all types of technical errors at us, AnMarie. We will still get it figured out, and we will still make sense.
Because we're traders.
That's right.
Because we're traders.
That's right.
All right. So very big. What this could be doing is two things. It could be building a megaphone that completely breaks down, or it could be breaking out. And so the double butterfly is really what we would want to look at here. And we want to use it in, they aren't offering any Septembers just yet. So it would be November that we would go to, and we might get it super cheap. So let's go here super fast and put this one together. I'll tell you what they look like.
All right, let me bring that back up. I've got the November expiry opened up here, and we're on the butterfly.
Perfect. And so for that butterfly, we want, if we want to call butterfly and we want to put butterfly. So the call butterfly that we want is going to be 300, 310, 320.
And folks, what I've done is I basically just clicked in the field and then I'm editing. This is actually what I do when I place trades on my own. When I'm not with AnMarie, I do all of my editing from the bottom here in Thinkorswim. It's much easier to stay on top of that. I'm thrilled that you're having me go this way.
Yes.
Okay, so we've got 300, 310, 320 on the call butterfly. That gives us a 40-cent debit. What do we want on the put side?
On the put side, we want we want 265, 255, and 245.
Okay, so that's not traded. So we got to figure out what which one in there is this. So let's go to the single here, but we're learning all the tricks here. 265 is not traded. They've got 250 or 260 there. 255 also not traded. So it looks like the 5 did not. We basically just need to adjust this by 5 points. Yeah.
So let's go to let's go 260, 250, 240.
Done. That is possible. That gives us a 17-cent credit.
What? For the long put side?
No, that's for the selling. Yeah, excuse me, puts.
Nice.
Hang on. Let me make sure. We're selling the 260s, buying the 250s.
No, we're buying we're buying.
Got it. So here we go. So here's your put side. That gives us a 20-cent debit.
All right. And for 60 cents, you're going to trade out the next those two of those. That's going to be a beautiful double butterfly that is going to work for this chart because it is going to do one of those two things in the passage of time. It is either going to break out, at which point we'll have the call action, or it's going to collapse right back into the bottom of that gigantic megaphone that it's building.
Okay.
Both of those ways are going to give us a chance to make money. And because we have it in November, giant gyrations are not going to be as meaningful in the near term. But when the chart finally resolves wherever it's going, we're going to be sitting in Fat City.
Okay. Hey, I like that. AnMarie, okay, great stuff here. And shout out for working through some technical challenges today. That's what we do. That's what we do best.
There's no person I'd rather work through them with than you. And I'm not kidding.
There we go.
Very,
hey, well, look,
like,
I'm going to try to make it easy. I'm going to try to make it easy for us. So early bird gets the worm. I was prepared here today. We'll go with that. AnMarie, thanks so much. We're going to check in with you on Friday, okay?
Yes. See you then.
Okay. Have a great rest of your day. Good luck tomorrow with the CPI and the Fed. And we'll see you on Friday.
See you then. Bye-bye.
Smash up the like for AnMarie, folks. She is the best. I'm telling you, she's not going to let me call her the best or the queen, but she is. We're going to be back on Friday. Thanks, everyone, for joining us here today. Stay green, stay safe, stay focused. We'll see you tomorrow.